Hello, everybody. Hi, it's me, John. We're here for the Gamesline Podcast once again. Folks, gaming continues to occur, and we here at Gamesline are here to talk about that. Yes, me, I'm John. I own the site. I try to run it, and, you know, we do stuff on the site and the podcast and all that stuff. This time, I am joined. I keep forgetting my positions here. I don't even know if this is how it's shown on the stream. Whatever. We've got Lorelai over there from where I am.
Other side.
This direction.
This direction, yeah.
This direction. Okay, because it is not that from what I'm seeing. So I'm just gonna. Yeah. You tell me. There, this way.
Yes,
I'm being told
me.
This way is Lorelai.
That's me.
Okay.
It's Lorelai. I'm back after being sick for a month and a half. Yay! Don't get a chronic heart condition. It sucks.
I'll try not to.
But yeah, I'm back. I'm really excited to talk about games because a lot of stuff has happened this year. This year and the year of like things I'm excited for. So it's been really good, gaming wise at least.
Of course. Okay, I'm gonna try to say where. Okay, so is this Rose?
Nope, that's that's Lily.
Fuck. Oh my god. Okay,
Rose is diagonal.
I am diagonal.
Is it this diagonal?
That one, yes.
Hi.
Okay. Hello, Rose. You're here. Hello.
Hi, I'm here.
What's good?
I need to finish so many games before the April games hit. Pragmata is like 2 weeks away or something, right? Scary.
It
God,
is.
you're
Damn.
right.
I'm excited for that game though.
Me too.
And then Lily, you are here.
Hello, I'm
I know
here.
that for a
I'm
fact
easily identifiable in a 3D environment.
Wonderful. Hello.
Yeah, like Roger Rabbit.
Gaming is still occurring. I myself have been struggling to finish video games because as I mentioned in my most recent article, I've been in multiplayer world recently where
Nasty.
I've been it's vile out there. It's vile, it's violent. There are bunny girls sometimes. But
Why?
we stay
Who would do
gaming
that?
all the same.
I mean, you gotta have bunny girls. I've got like 2 of them with me right now.
That's
Is
true.
the
You
one
do.
on the left okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. She does look like she's like keeling over, but okay.
No,
She's feeding on him.
yeah.
Oh.
Hey, let's do this
okay.
together, bro.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Okay, I thought that was all one entity, so I thought it was just, like it kind of looks like a dying blob beast if you're just looking at it like that. My bad. Anyway, yeah, we're here. We're ready to talk about gaming. A lot of stuff going on with us, but we're also gonna try to do something a little different with the news. In the case that we're not going to just go through everything, we're each of us picked one news article, unless we didn't see anything that we wanted to talk about, in which case then we just picked 0 articles. So, you know, we'll see where that takes us once we hit the news. I don't know if y'all want to do that first, or if you want to just start talking about the gaming, because I don't know. This stuff is... we picked nice-ish stuff this time. We picked funny things. And things that make us mad for slightly funny reasons. Not things that make us want to scream and tear our hair out. So, do we want to do that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start off with Lorelai's bit of news here. Lorelai, do you want to like run it, or do you want me to talk about it? How do you want to do it?
Like, let me bring this up, and because I'm coming at it from an interesting point of view, because this is something that I have seen happen before. I've worked in publishing. I worked in comic books. So I've also looked at people's pitch decks and things like that. And that's one of the more interesting things about this, where they accidentally published a piece of like production art in the Blood Rain art book that is literally just, they changed the hair color of a piece of Ninja Gaiden 2 art to go like, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking for the character. And they accidentally like what probably happened is they sent, the company sent all of the assets they had done in production stuff to put together this art book to limited run, and they just promoted it like that. And it's like, oops, we actually can't publish this thing because it's just a recolored piece of art. And that, like, the reason this is pretty interesting to me is like when you were taking pitches for comic books and stuff, a lot of times people would have like layouts for a few pages, but then for the character designs, sometimes they would literally go like, here's an image of Lara Croft going, my character is, the main character is kind of like this, with some photoshopping done. It's something that's done in a lot of industries as a shortcut to, we can't have finished art for this right from the start. We have to develop something into a thing.
People this past week were posting about, like how, hey, you should, there was a talk again about, not using AI generated art for stand-ins and stuff like that. Cause, it was that Crimson Desert game or whatever, where they had a bunch of like generated art for, some paintings. And so, again, I think that there's that whole debate where it was like, for something like Expedition 33, it's like, that was obviously like an early mistake that, they corrected, and it was, I feel like that was pretty separate, but like nowadays, like so much time has passed. It's like, all right, we should have that squared away now that we know by now, that it's, we're going to move on from that. Don't do it because it's not obvious enough sometimes. And so then people were just posting like they were posting like there was Pentiment art where it was like, oh yeah, no, here's like a picture of like this is supposed to be like a deer getting spit roasted, like over a fire. And it was, because it was Bambi, they just like slapped Bambi over a fire, just because that like, explains what it's supposed to be to somebody who's, it's not the final thing. And so, yeah, like, I like, this is obviously not like some evil transgression. This is very much not supposed to be like, oh, hey, we just copied this character. Like, if they just did that in the released version of the game, then of course that would be an issue. But this is very much just an accident of, they probably just sent like a shit ton of folders to Limited Run for this art book, and they saw this art and they were like, oh, this looks sick, because it does look sick, because it's from Ninja Gaiden. It looks sick, and they put it on the cover of the art book, which is the funniest part, is that it was just front and center, which also, honestly, it's probably really good that it was front and center, because now it got caught, instead of it being just like in there and then like them printing all these books and then it getting sent out, so honestly good that they found it there. It's just more funny than anything. Like nobody's coming at this and saying it's malicious or anything. It's very much just like, oopsie, we're gonna swap it out,
Yeah, and that's part of why I wanted to talk about it, was just, as I said, like, I've seen this 100 times in comic book pitches that were given to me and stuff like that, where it is just like, hey, here's practically a collage version of a page of somebody just like taking screenshots, mashing them together and go, this is kind of the vibe I want for this. And you could see what they were getting at.
Yeah.
But you also know it's not going to be in the final product, and you aren't going to publish that anywhere because it's fucking obvious. Like,
yeah.
Well, I think a lot of creative endeavors, a lot of people fail to understand is that the artist does not arrive at an idea. Like, they're not struck from on high with a lightning bolt from Athena with an idea. That inspiration, like, again, it is a type of proverbial, showing how the sausage is made. And like, as a writer, even, I have mood boards for characters. I have stuff that is just directly taken from things that inspire me.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, it is intentionally made to look cheap and to make sure that, it's not placeholder. You're not literally claiming copyright, because I think it was several months ago, right? Where the Pokemon leaks happened. And you could see the behind the scenes stuff where it was like, this character in our heads as the writers is literally this person, but we're also combining it with this. And I don't know. It's unfortunate that it went in a public way in that sense, but that's not like a new or unique thing for any industry. Lots of people are just like, this character is basically this character and this character stuck together, and that's what we're running with. But that's universal across every industry that is, making creative, visual, or just doing previs in general.
Yeah, it was literally somebody going, hey, this is a person who has two blades and kind of the hair we're thinking, so we're just going to color the hair red.
I mean, she didn't have the blades. She did have guns and stuff. But again, like that sort of character is very much like what they're doing with Blood Rain. Like, I bet they were like, yeah, we want to make it a bit more like Ninja Gaiden-y, because that's what we're leaning towards now, because like, they want it to be a bit more stylized instead of like the very like standard gothy kind of thing that Blood Rain was at the time. And now they're like, yeah, let's make it a little more anime because that's more popular. And so, I think like Ninja Gaiden's the kind of vibe that they wanted to go for. And it's like, yeah, that just makes sense. So
yeah.
like seeing this kind of stuff is like the stuff I miss from art books a lot of times too. Is like, well, it just like more behind. We're seeing more behind the scenes lately because somebody fucks up something. I want to see more behind the scenes stuff because people want to share behind the scenes stuff again. Mm-hmm. I want DVD extras that are stuff like this, like walk through the office and you see that on a monitor in the background. So it's not like you're, but it's something we used to get a lot more of in all sorts of industries, and we don't see anymore unless somebody posts an AI thing and then a bunch of other people are like, this is good placeholder. Here's our floor texture that says,
this is from BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
I mean, the combination of the advent of auteur culture in games with Kojima or Ken Levine, people like that in the 2000s, like really, and Nintendo's way of doing things, like tricked people into thinking that there's this idea of divesting yourself from the whole. Like, look at how Miyamoto talks in the 80s versus how Miyamoto talks in the 90s, and you have someone who is actively hiding all of their inspirations, trying to make it clear that from a marketing perspective, what they made is wholly original, wholly new. You want to get this, Mm-hmm. And it's really crazy because it's like you're talking about, Lorelai, like you look at something like a bunch of those behind the scenes stuffs you have for the early Splinter Cells, the early Tomb Raiders, stuff like that. That's just out there because people were willing to share it at GDCs and stuff like that very early on. And you have like people just being like, we love Indiana Jones for Tomb Raider, right? Like we love Indiana Jones and we love this specific exploitation film, and you can see like all this stuff or whatever, and they're just saying it by name. But nowadays you have Todd Howard going out there, right, or something, and he's going, we love the fantasy genre. The fantasy genre is interesting.
It's there is just this lack of ability to share anything these days. It's like the days when credits all had fake names because they didn't want anyone hiring anyone from them, and like stuff like that again, where everything just has to be secretive and like just like post your dumb placeholders, post your silly things, please.
Do any of you have like a favorite like behind the scenes material from a game? Because I have one that is very close to my heart.
Please share. I'd have to think about it, but
so when I was still kind of vaguely interested in the concept of being a voice actress, I got really, really invested in the behind the scenes voice acting segments for the Legacy of Kain games. So Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance had these really, really like in-depth like pseudo documentaries on like the behind, and it was like, you know, it was like bloopers and stuff too. But like on the disc you just have like Tony J riffing with all of the other voice actors in the game. And like, again, they were all in the same room, and it was a very interesting thing because those games are written very, I don't want to say just like cheaply, like Shakespearean, but it is very theatrical, and it is very much intended for everyone to be playing off one another. And I think seeing that behind the scenes material is important because it reminds you that the people making the things that you make are also like human beings and not just a voice and a credit reel.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of those were some of my favorites, like the old PlayStation demo discs that would have like behind the scenes friggin' voice acting reels and stuff like that. I think there, like, I want to say there was one for Blasto, which is just an absolute dog water game, but just seeing Phil Hartman hamming it up in a recording booth for a 10-minute video segment and hearing a guy talk about how, like, yes, I'm playing video game is delightful. Like, I miss the PlayStation demo disc era of stuff.
I mean, I post hoc, like, I had a lot of those, like, PSN, like I remember being so, like, over the moon, like, finding a copy at my grandmother's house. And again, this was, like, years late. This was beyond the point where one should be excited about a PS1 disc in anything, but it was
no,
like...
it's not. It's just you should still be excited about it now, today.
Yes.
Sure. But Square Enix put out like their own demo disc where it was like, here is all of the JRPGs we are the most proud of, like, as a company. And it was like Final Fantasy VIII and Xenogears and Saga Frontier 2 and like all of these different things. And like, again, just like the acknowledgement, like, I think everyone has like a kind of point where they realize that the things that they engage with, the art that they love, is made by a person. It didn't just descend from on high. Or at least you should have that point. If you haven't, people make the things that you enjoy. But being able to see that, being able to see like concept art and all of this stuff, I don't know. It was really formative for me being curious about this industry and creating things on my own in the first place.
I think that's like one of the big things about like the recent Capcom collections and stuff like that have been coming out, or even the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters with their like art galleries and music galleries and stuff. I need more of that. I need more of a celebration of history rather than running from and sharing it excitedly, rather than running from it. Like, my biggest issue with the Suikoden remasters is that they don't include anything like that. It, like, yes, it is okay to bring in the original Suikoden 2 artists to redraw all the sprite, all the portrait work, but I miss the original Suikoden 1 portraits. They are scratchier, they are uglier, but they are significantly unique. And people who play through those remasters will just never see those because they don't include like a gallery with the originals or anything like that. And I just want more.
I do also think that being able to see an unfinished product in that way, in the same way that it reminds you that artists are human, I think it also is good for other artists to see that the things that they loved looked like shit at one point.
I love, like, working in comics, one of my favorite things to edit was when you'd get someone's layouts, like, 90% of layouts are like stick figures and chicken scratches. And you'd have to like try to interpret what was going to be on the page from that. And these are like incredible artists, but they're like, okay, I'm just laying this thing out with like no detail whatsoever. And then you get the next set of pages, and you're just like, how did you get from this? Oh, I see how you got from this to that, but that's still like nuts.
I mean, we live in such a... No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's like creating things. That was my favorite part of the whole thing. Of just seeing how this went to pens, like went to inks, and like the process of it. And these days, you only maybe ever see the last 2 steps of the process. You never see like initial layouts and stuff like that because people are ashamed to share imperfect stuff.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying, where like we live in a time, especially when like the gallery site has diminished in people's knowledge. Like people don't tend to go to places like DeviantArt much anymore. And so with the timeline oriented nature of things, people always feel this need to only put out art if it is objectively perfect and in matching with what their current skill as an artist is. And it's like sometimes you just want to post the napkin doodle.
Yep. Mm-hmm. No, I definitely see that a lot in every industry that's art-wise these days. Is like, oh, I can't put an in-progress thing because then somebody is going to complain that my art's not finished. And it's like, no, share all of that. Fuck those people. But you like, those people are always going to be there because it's the fucking social media disaster zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the modern age, the way social media is designed is that posting it online implies to lots of people that you are open to receiving their unfiltered thoughts about it. And that kind of inherent thoughtlessness hurts a lot more people who I think would be creative, but are just afraid of like the absolutely terrifying response from other people sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not like it doesn't help that like a lot of people in charge of making decisions in these industries these days have no knowledge of stuff. I have seen editors say like, look at a page of pencil art and go, what are those blue lines for? And it's like, well, because when you're scanning penciled art, you do your rough layer in a blue line because the scanner doesn't pick that up. It's like, you should know that. You are a professional in this industry, or you claim you are, but you don't know like a simple basic.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see here. Other bits of news here. Rose, do you want to do yours?
Yeah, mine is just a little quickie. Koei Tecmo randomly... So, okay. Blue Reflection is a series that has been kind of like in questionable territory, I would say, recently, because people don't know if they're going to continue it. This seems like maybe they will be, which wouldn't surprise me because Tellier has been doing much better than it has recently, so they can probably afford to do their less successful projects.
They got fuck around money.
Yeah, exactly. Which, if you can believe it, is how it's supposed to work in games, by the way.
Yeah.
If you can believe it. But yeah, they announced a Blue Reflection Quartet, which is this really weird thing. It's basically one game that has the two Blue Reflection games, but then also an offline version, like weird dungeon crawler version of the anime that was from a few years ago. And then also a version of the gacha game that's offline. The extremely ill-received gacha game, by the way. So that'll be Blue Reflection Ray, Blue Reflection Sun, and Blue Reflection Second Light are the 4 games in it. This is really weird. The anime changing the anime into a dungeon crawler with scenes from the anime is very interesting to me. That's like so bizarre. But I don't. So if you don't know what Blue Reflection is, it's a magical girl JRPG series from Koei Tecmo and Gust, and it's about like magical girls. And it's usually much more the magical girl Madoka style of abstracted environments, going in the dungeons like a Persona 4 style thing. And it's really funny because the original Blue Reflection would very squarely fall into what I would call, or not what I would call, but what the internet would refer to as Yuri bait media, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just a very like, oh, we can almost go there, but not really. Like, we have to tiptoe, we have to leave room for Jerry in the middle of both of them.
Yeah, gotta have Jerry.
Yeah. And then the second game, which came out after a few years after the first one, kind of made that a lot more textual. And it had, like, you can go on dates with the girls as a girl, you know, stuff like that. A lot more, like, outright being sort of in that vibe, which is also where the Atelier series has landed over time. Like, they've realized, like, oh, we are pitching to the specific market. We do not have to put up the illusion, right? But then they made the fucking gacha game, Blue Reflection Sun, I think. And that one, you play as a guy. And all of the magical girls are wearing, like, sexier outfits than ever before. And the vibes are horrible. And it was very ill received because the people who are into that series are himidanshis at worst, right? These are people who are going to be like, I want to see Yuri. I don't want to see weird self-insert guy hanging out with lesbians in a disturbing way. So I'm really curious how they... Like, it will just feel even more tonally inconsistent as part of this pack, I think. Because you can see the guy in the screenshot, so it's still going to be the guy protagonist.
Bro, who is this? Who invited him?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's such a weird thing. Like, that gacha game was very ill-received, and that made everyone think the series was dead. Because, you know, that and Sakura Wars was around the same time.
Yeah.
The huge fuck-up with that. And it's like... that kind of killed Sakura Wars coming back, and then this was thought to be Blue Reflection. But again, Yumiya did really well for Atelier. Ryza obviously did gangbusters as well. So I imagine they are doing A-okay enough that they can probably still do what they want to do with Blue Reflection. I'll be curious to see how that manifests in the future. You have to figure, like, again, these are creative places. I think a thing that really frustrates me with game discussions is you get this idea of, well, every game has to make a huge profit. And that's not true. The whole point of making a game is to make the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you see that in studios like this, like Furyu. Again, I don't even like Furyu games that much. I think a lot of them fail, but that is a publisher that is putting out games that people are very clearly making for the sake of making a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really important in the space because, like, I don't care about the Steam chart number for Blue Reflection or whatever. I just care if it's a good game or not. And I'll be curious to see how this collection manifests because I never played the second one. I just watched a friend play a lot of it. And I never touched the gacha game because I don't think it released over here. And the anime was very okay. As most game animes tend to be.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I might check this out just because I have wanted to play Second Light before. Weird thing, though. Really weird thing. Because usually it would just be like, hey, we made the offline version of the gacha game, right? Like Rockman X Dive or Octopath Zero. Mm-hmm. But this is like a whole damn collection thing.
I'd have to imagine, yeah, if this is to kind of reintroduce the series in general, just so people can hop on and get the full experience and then be like, all right, now you're in.
Yeah, now we can make a new one.
Now we can make a new one, this time with more than one person working on the localization.
Yeah.
The first game was done entirely by one of my old friends from Destructoid.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
I remember.
Good old Chris, like, entirely do it. Like, that was his first project. Now I'm glad he's being able to work on a lot of really cool stuff. But
you can see that with a lot of the Gust releases where it's like even the older Art and Elico games and like the Ateliers from the late PS3 era are like, oh man.
Yeah, you can tell that they
Someone
hired
time
one
crunched.
person because they, didn't want to spend the money or whatever. And like, I still have a very soft spot for Blue Reflection, like, because of that. Like, hey, a friend of mine worked on this, and it's a legitimately enjoyable game.
All right. Well, I had two things that I was thinking about talking about this time. One of them was all the Pokemon Champions news. But I feel like you all would want to beat me with rods and sticks and bats and other objects, because I would be talking about, like, I'd be sitting there like, they took knockoff off of Incineroar, and and you'd be like, John, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes, see, yeah, I know all about the Pokemon.
Maybe if this was the Smogon official podcast.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it seems exciting. Some of the monetization stuff I'm kind of, because it's, battle passes and shit, but it does seem like it's going to be relatively playable for free if you already have the games, like the RPGs. So I'm not too worried about that. But I'll leave that. Instead, I will talk about the other thing that is something that makes me cross my arms and shake my damn head, and is absolutely going to be too expensive. Digimon Con happened. Yeah, instead of Pokemon, we're talking about Digimon.
Why don't they call it Digicon?
Because they're not smart over there, I guess. What the fuck? Hey, I said I'm not talking about it. Put the bat away. Damn. Come on. Anyway. They're doing more Time Stranger DLC, which is nuts. I finished the last DLC. The last DLC in the first pack, excuse me. It was the best one, which is not saying much at all. They charge like $30 or $40 for like 3-hour-long DLCs that just added a bunch of new mega level Digimon. And so it's just like, yeah, you don't really spend time with them or anything. They're just kind of plopped down. It's like, sure, yeah, you can have another Omnimon. Whatever. They added like 4 or 5 new Omnimon. They were just like, dude, do you like Omnimon? No? Like, that was basically what they did. And I was like, dude, you gotta stop. And all the stories were nothing. It was just, oh, hey, there's this evil Digimon that's going around dimension hopping, and you gotta go beat him up. And that was literally it. That's all it is. Just too expensive for what that was. And now they're going, oh, but now we're going to have another DLC, and this one's going to be a, let me see, the large-scale expansion, they said, and it is due out next year, so it's not going to be out until 2027. They have not said what all is going to be included in this, what exactly it's going to be. They did a Digimon referendum, which is a big fan vote for people to say which Digimon they want to see in future games. And I'm not gonna, rattle it off, because, again, I don't think any of you know any of these Digimon, but, I said I'm not!
No Palamon?
Not on this list, no.
Pathetic.
Yeah. Most of them are from the card game, honestly. It's mostly Digimon that were in the card game's webcomic that, they've based a lot of, really powerful decks off of. Like my ghosts. I hope if they make Ghostmon playable, I will be happy about that. But yeah, this kind of just seems like it's them being like, yeah, this game's really popular. We want to kind of milk it more, which, I mean, makes sense in general, but I would rather they just make a new game. Like, I really wish that they would just move on from this, because, I think that this is a good starting point, but, like my review said, there's so much more that they could do better. And this just feels like they're like, oh well, we got a win finally.
Yeah.
So we have to milk it instead of, building on it and making something else and, maybe having a better story, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a separate purchase, and it's gonna be like another like I don't know, like the fact that those little mini missions were like $30. Like I'm just sitting here and it's just like this is gonna be full price.
It's gonna be a full price game.
Yeah, like they're gonna charge like $50-$60 for this shit, aren't they? Like, oh my god.
At this point, what, you've gotten through all of them?
I got through all the like little mini DLC things, yeah, and like I said, like so they were like 2 hours, if that, a piece, and there's 3 of them, so it was like 6 hours worth of stuff for $30, and like again, like there's obviously like I don't want to be like it's expensive so it's bad per se, but it's just like the actual meat and potatoes of it, the quality level was also not there because it's literally just going around in a dungeon, the same dungeon, like all 3 of them have the same dungeon, and you're going around that same dungeon fighting guys, like random guys, and you're just hanging out with like these certain Digimon will be like, oh hey, I'm this Omnimon. Like it's literally 3 different Omnimon. You meet up with one Omnimon in the first one, a different Omnimon in the second one, and then a third Omnimon in the third one, and they're just like, all right, I'm the Omnimon for this DLC. You gotta help me save my friends. And then you save them, and someone from the story mode of Time Stranger is also there, but they're an alternate dimension version of them, so nothing happens to like there's no actual character development because they're a different dimensional version of them, so it's just pointless.
That sounds...
It's stupid.
Good.
It's useless.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm kind of glad
pointless.
I didn't buy the DLC now.
Yeah, it's completely pointless. And like the reason why they did it like that was because they wanted to like make it so you could play them in any order, and also you could play them before you finish the game. But like they didn't have to do that. They could have just not done that. They could have just said, okay, yeah, we're just gonna do this in order. You have to play it 1, 2, 3, and you can only do it after you finish the game. So there's character development. Like it's they're solving problems that they created themselves with a lot of this stuff. Like I think I straight up said that for a lot of things in Time Stranger itself in my review, and that is 100% how the DLC is too. It is just like they're just like, well, we can't do that because if we did, it would fuck up what we have planned. And it's like, just change what you're doing then. Like, why do you have to follow this weird strict outline instead of doing something else? Like, I don't know. It's
I still maintain my policy with DLC that I'm not against like additional materials being added to the game. My preference would always be, if you're going to add DLC, I would prefer if it were something that was enmeshed in a way where I wouldn't be able to tell if it was DLC unless I have played the game before. Like I mean, again, I've done DLC packs for stuff like the Owlcat games stuff, but especially when it's like so for clarity, you say when they share, like, do all of them share the same dungeon, or is it a dungeon each?
So they all technically share the same dungeon. It's slightly different, but like mostly it's the same. And then the third one brings you to some locations that are from Time Stranger itself, but it's just like, oh hey, you're walking through the forest that was in Time Stranger for like a room, and that's it. It's it's all reused assets, and again, reused assets. I don't have a problem with reused assets in general, but it's just like this stuff is just like it's boring, it's bland, it's cheap, and it's like there's nothing. They don't do anything interesting with it. You're not you're not getting any new insight by going around these dungeons. The characters you're interacting with aren't giving you proper character development, and because you can't because they want you to be able to play each of the DLC packs in any order, you don't even get any finality with the villain. because it's like you defeat him in one pack, and then it's like, oh, he went to another dimension, or you beat this one, but there's still a bunch of them in another dimension. It's like, who fucking cares then? Like, I don't know.
The Sea of Stars special.
Yeah. Like, I'm guessing maybe that might be what they do with this big expansion, is that it'll be like, oh, then you go fight Parallelmon Prime or something. But again, then it's just like, why did you do this at all? Like, it just makes me not care. Like, I just, like, cool, I got Omnimon Ultra S. I don't fucking care. Like,
look, if you bring every single Digimon up to maximum level, you get the true ending.
Oh my god.
My big problem with DLC is always every game designer hates making anything that takes place after their endings, and I think that's really lame, broadly speaking. Because, like, so like a good example of some recent DLC I saw that I was really interested in that came out this week was the Souls-like AI limit released a roguelike mode that's sort of based off of Hades, where you do like a few runs or whatever, get a little story each time, and then reach a cohesive whole or whatever. And I think that's really interesting because it's clearly that's something that they felt like they wanted to try and make or whatever as an experiment. But then they also made it take place after the end of the game so that then they can just do whatever they want. And I think that's really fun because it's like, if you can build off of the ideas of your core narrative in another way without like making it this weird, like, and then this happened here, yet you didn't know.
Yeah.
It's way more engaging to me.
See, that's a novel idea to me, and the immediate thing it put into my head, like if the team behind it wanted to make a decent amount of money off of me, I have an idea. Lies of P Bloody Palace mode for $15.
Yeah, for real.
You'd get my ass immediately.
Yeah. Again, like there is some stuff there for sure, because you know, like the second DLC pack was about the Bonchos, so it was kind of fun to be like, oh, hey, here's all these like Boncho Digimon like trying to be all tough to each other. Like that was kind of cute. And then the third DLC was about the X Antibody, which I don't know if it's basically the meta thing is that I'm gonna be normal about it. Let me just so Bandai wanted to, like, you know how you know, like Transformers and stuff where they tried to kill everybody and then so they could have new toys. They tried to do that with Digimon, where they were like, well, they invented a virus called the X virus, and it's supposed to like cull the Digimon until there's some Digimon have an X antibody and it makes their body different. So they basically just redesigned everybody so they could sell new V-Pets. Because it's like, oh, see, that's Agumon X antibody. He looks different now. And everyone hated it. But they still reference it because now it's like been long enough that people are kind of nostalgic for it. But yeah, they did like the X antibody thing, and they basically just had like a bunch of the X antibody Digimon like split up into factions where it's like, we should try to find a cure for it. And then some of them were like, we should just let everyone who doesn't have the antibodies die because it's evolution, it's survival of the fittest. And then there was a third one that was just kind of like, we should figure out something we should figure something out. But we don't know. It was really weird. It was like there's like a cool concept there to have this, you know, like infighting with these characters to be like, you know, this is something that is, you know, quote unquote natural or something, like this is a part of the world. So, you know, having that argument of like, oh, should we just let it happen or should we not? And like obviously, like, you know, you're gonna have your own internal argument for that. Like your own internal opinion on that, but having that conflict is interesting. But then they just don't really get to go anywhere with that because the actual conflict is just these guys are mad at each other and they're not going to team up to fight the big bad guy until you say, stop arguing and team up so we can fight the big bad guy. And that's it. So it's just like, okay, like, you know, it doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah.
yeah, it's fucking whatever.
All right. Shall we talk about games that we've been playing?
We can do that.
Yeah.
I love games.
We do.
Games are cool.
Lorelai, no, Lily, actually, since you didn't have a news article, do you want to talk about a game that you've been playing?
I can. So, if you all remember the podcast I was on last, where the name Marathon was mentioned. Okay. So I said, perhaps I will give it a try. Later in the day, my partner came into my room and said, Lily, Rosary has sold me on Marathon. And I went, oh, I see. And then she immediately went, I have purchased it for both of us. In the adjoining time, I have played it for 48 hours. I have some thoughts. It has brought back a unquenchable bloodlust that I thought I suppressed with the ending of my career with Counter-Strike.
Oh no.
It's a darkness, especially when they made the knife animation for when you stab someone to death on the ground incredibly appealing to do to people.
It's really good.
But it's pretty good. But the thing is, okay, I have to get a small percentage of haterism out of the way first.
Sure.
I don't like Destiny 2 very much.
That seems normal.
Bungie has always been really good at gunplay. I really liked the gunplay of Destiny 2, which is what got me into playing it for 500 hours that I will never get back. But Marathon is also very good. And it doesn't require me to play Destiny 2. That is the best sales pitch I can offer for that game. But part of what I've been really, really enjoying about it, other than, having an excuse to play games with my friends and loved ones, is the simple fact that I have never really, aside from some small sojourns into single player extraction shooters, I've never played a proper extraction shooter before, and I was always afraid of playing them because I was terrified of battle royales. I'm sorry, enjoyers of battle royales and by extension media property Fortnite, I don't like your game very much. It's okay if you do though. I generally don't like battle royales because I don't like the experience of starting from zero in a kind of way where you're in a mad dash to constantly acquire materials before someone kills you and sends you back to a loading screen. Extraction shooters then allow you to kind of set your own difficulty level. And again, the horrible demonic Ouroboros in myself that is constantly fighting with itself to both have enriching experiences with video games while also fighting with the urge to absolutely style on a motherfucker. They are both satiated here because Marathon does also have its own little story. I was playing with Rose the other day, and we both did the Cryo Archive. And both of us have feelings for the AI, erstwhile ally, Durandal. So, we were both having some feelings about it.
Positive feelings, or are you pissed off at that bastard? No.
It can be both.
Yeah, it's kind of both.
Okay.
Sometimes, okay, listen. You obviously have partaken of media before.
Have you watched a event?
Have you not experienced the highs and lows of loving a character who is, in one hand, the coolest character in the series, and on the other hand, a rat bastard?
Yeah, of course.
That's Durandal.
Yeah, it's like Kaiba.
At all times. Yeah. He will say, hey, it's really cool that you're raiding the Marathon right now. I want you to kill 200 robots. And you're just like, okay, sir, yes, sir.
And he's like, and also, by the way, check on a vault. I'm too busy, whatever, check on it. There's these cute, okay. Sorry to pull away from you for a second, Lily. There's these, so in the original Marathon, Durandal communicates with you through terminals, right? And they've sort of abstracted that out into this combination of contracts and codex entries in Marathon. And I remember last time I was on the podcast, I talked about how I thought the codex was a lot better than Destiny because it's like full logs rather than a Dark Souls item description with some, like a paragraph or two attached.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every item having like 5 entries works really well. And then like achievements having others and stuff like that, and then the contracts work great. The contracts for the Cryo Archive are all written by Durandal, like the terminal, and I just love the tone in all of them of just like, they are just like one by one lines of like, hey, kill those robots, they're so annoying. Also check out the vault for me, needs some attention, okay, bye. Like, it's just great. I love it.
He is flippant without slipping into Marvel voice.
Yeah. It's awesome.
At no point does he say, well, that just happened.
Yeah.
Because it happened.
Because I was there.
And that's how you know that just happened.
Yeah.
And before this, you could get his more like edgy rantings through some ARG stuff that people were doing or whatever by activating certain things on certain maps. But there was also just a % chance, and I'm the only person I know who's had this happen more than once or at all. But there's a chance when you spawn that he just talks to you voice line while you spawn, and he's voiced by Ben Starr this time, which I really like.
We are going to reach a point where everyone in the industry is Ben Starr.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's like for like big AAA stuff, it's him, and then for
he's
indie
the
stuff,
fucking
it's
Balatro clown.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to be on the we're going to log on to the podcast one day, and it's going to be 3 anime Ben Stars and then real Ben Starr.
Yeah.
or one of us is going to be fucking Gianni. Like, that's it.
Look,
it's gonna
maybe I'll ask him at FanFest if he's there.
Yeah, 3 Ben Stars and a Gianni.
Hey,
that's going to be this podcast.
Ben Starr, come on our podcast.
Do you vote Kurt?
Yeah.
Voice Kurt, sorry. But there's a chance when you spawn in that he just goes like, man, you're so fucked, basically. And I like that a lot.
Well, the thing was, it happened when I was playing with you, and I had no idea what you were talking about.
I was like, what the hell? That was great.
God, I hate that y'all are selling me on Marathon.
It's good.
Well, that's exactly it. I didn't think I was going to get sold on it either, but then you can't be... Okay, so the experience that happened today, I was playing with a friend who is also part of like my TTRPG group, but I got embroiled in their Marathon because I sold them on Marathon, so it's like a parasite at this point. So the highs of Marathon are like the same thing with any kind of like... Because like, again, I'm an oldie enjoyer. I like arena shooters. I like beating people in conquests of violence in a small place where you're generally not beating them by necessarily outsmarting them. You're beating them with like map knowledge and just, your aim being better and your movement being better. Getting someone so like dirty in this game, so dead to rights, where like you just have you have a plan and it perfectly executes out exactly how you expect it to. Like Rook runs. Rook runs are where you play as the little goblin man who spawns with 3 claymores and a double-barreled shotgun in a dream. And so your job is to like silenced pistol poke someone in the back of the head like you're like in your math class and asking some for a question on a test. And when they turn around, you just double barrel them in the face. And that kind of thing is like the epic level catharsis that you can't get in any other genre. And then you have the low lows of the Cryo Archive. Like I know Rose was like complaining about people being sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
If the rest of Marathon is sweaty, then Cryo Archive is like a boys' middle school locker room. And it has just about as much breathing room too, because the amount of times that we died like rats in a vent because no one could back out of the vent, and then they threw a bunch of grenades on top of us. It was very nearly in the double digits, and it was only not in the double digits because I ran out of money.
Yeah,
Fun game, though. I had a good time.
the Cryo Archive is really interesting. So we were doing it with Spencer, and I really enjoy the dynamic us three have for that game, because it's like me and Lily are kind of killing mode, and then Spencer is well, I call him like a little thief pussy guy, but really he's like a tactician, right? He's trying to come up with the tactical ideas.
That's very different. Those are two very different things.
No. If you
Listen,
watch,
he has both of us on like the toddler leash. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's my little joke against him, because there was a time I was playing with just him, and I had to watch his instead of raising me, I just had to watch him hide in a room alone for 5 minutes, because he was like, "Oh, this perfect. I need to hide in this moment and then do this and whatever," you know. But it's really fun, because it's like he'll come up with an idea, and then when it works really well. Of like, all right, we're gonna hide here and do things, and then I'll be like, okay, but we're engaging now, and then we just fucking kill them, and it's great. Or Lily will do it. It's really fun. I have a lot of fun doing that dynamic. And the Cryo Archives, even though we lost every time, was really interesting, because it's like, it is this high end zone. Like, it is like sort of the equivalent of a Destiny raid, where it has like, you know, challenging things to deal with from a PvE standpoint.
Robots.
Yeah, lots of robots. You have to like build up a clearance to activate certain zones. And I know that there's puzzles later on that you have to solve. There's like all sorts of places you can jump around and do platforming in. There was this really funny part that I really liked, where, so the whole map takes place on the Marathon. The rest of it's all on planet, but this map is on the Marathon. And it reflects the same level design of Marathon, where it's a lot of these like areas with a ton of enemies, and then small corridors that you're sort of running through and going around. And I think that's really cool. And it's especially cool when you get to those areas in the original Marathon, where it would be like, hey, you're on the catwalk going over a puzzle area, but this is a PvP game, so you're on a catwalk over other players. So there was a point where we got killed by people we couldn't even see, and we're like, oh God, what happened? Where was that, or whatever? And we figured out where they were. We're like, how did they even get up there? And then the next time we were exploring on our next run, we were up there on that catwalk. So we knew exactly, like, oh, this is where they saw it. Okay, so they were just coming from here. And I thought that was really fun, of like, it feels like a puzzle map versus the other ones, which feel more like, you know, your classic Halo map. You're figuring things out. You know where to hide, where the thing is going to be, where the best place is to go for X, Y, and Z, etc.
Well, and honest to goodness, at that point, it does genuinely feel like a boomer shooter map that you are having a multiplayer altercation on.
It's crazy.
Ooh.
And I really like that about it. Like, I understand now why there was a lot of friction around Bungie saying like, hey, maybe you should wait to do your marathon reviews until we put out the Cryo Archive. So you can kind of see, like, broadly speaking, where the future of this game is going to be.
Yeah.
And I definitely understand now why they were saying that, though, because it's like, if you play on those first 3 maps of the game, you're getting a pretty typical extraction shooter environment. Like, yes, it is sci-fi. Yes, it is interesting. Yes, it is like, you know, multiplayer maps, but like, these are areas that you've sort of seen in something like Arc Raiders or something like Tarkov to some extent. Like, Outpost is basically a Tarkov map to some degree, with its own twists and stuff with that. And it's like, if you only play those maps, you come away going like, sort of like, hey, okay, this is a great extraction shooter, but it is very much in the vein of, it's not doing anything super crazy different outside of the storytelling. But when you speak something like the Cryo Archive, you come away with like, oh, going forward, they are going to be experimenting with a lot of different ways to present this game. And like the ways that they're going to do storytelling, the way that they're going to approach PvE content, the way that they're going to, you know, just think about the world you're going to explore is going to be radically different. There was a really fun moment that made me excited for the future, where we found a weapon mod that the only PvE enemies we had run into in that game until you get to the Cryo Archives are just robots. It's the UESC robots. But we found a weapon mod that increased damage against the fucking aliens from Marathon. And that's like just reading that item description when you pick it up of like increases damage against the aliens from Marathon after never seeing them is like such a fun moment in gameplay. Like, of like, oh fuck, who knows what's going to happen now?
And I mean, like, that combination of plot stuff, you know, it keeps me going and playing it. I have friends that have played extraction shooters. I have heard the nightmares that come out of stuff like Hunt Showdown.
Mm-hmm.
And this game just has a lot of anti-frustration features that I really appreciate. There is basically 0 instances where you are just like completely fucked. Like, you have the starter packs, which are, again, they're decent. The way that they have balanced the game, where like if a person has all like purple gear, like the second highest you can go, they still die in 2 hits to being stabbed in the throat with a knife. And like, people on the high end complain about that kind of thing, but I appreciate that kind of design, because it means even if you are literally no healing, no shields, all your weapons are empty, you still have a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's nice to never be put in a situation where you're just, well, can't play the game anymore, I guess.
Yeah, like that never happens, which was my initial, apprehension with the genre of extraction shooter, because that is what I've heard about Tarkov, is like you just kind of have miserable runs, and that doesn't really happen in this from the combination of free stuff they give you. You always have a free kit available to you. Always. Mm-hmm. And I know some of those games have developed to get to that point, but it's like a lot of the times that means you're in misery world for a while, and here it's bungee gunplay, so it's never that bad. My only complaint, I think, with the balance currently is genuinely just the same thing I had with Destiny 2, which is they need to figure out, and I think the seasonal format will allow them to do this the same way something like Apex balanced their guns around appearing in certain situations and stuff like that. You shouldn't be able to always just start with a shotgun. That's crazy, because it means that, like, even if you lose a shotgun on a run, a shotgun is a really strong weapon, obviously, and as it is wont to be in a video game. Mm-hmm. It means you can just buy another shotgun, like, instantly. And I think that they need to do some power weapon Halo style balancing with some things.
So the thing was, Rose speaks truth, because what happened earlier today is that I got an upgrade for the PvP faction, Arachne, and they just gave me 2 shotguns for free. And again, remember how I said that knifing someone is always effective? Do you know what's even more effective than knifing someone?
Let us know.
Having them rounding a corner, not knowing you're there, and then unloading a buckshot facial into their head.
That sounds right. That would take me out, I think.
I don't know. I think you've been like grinding out like your EVs for a while.
We'll see.
I still maintain my theory that John has the highest HPs of Gamesline.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
I appreciate your vote of confidence in my my similarities to Blissey.
You got bit by 2 spiders consecutively, and you just tanked it.
I did do that. Okay, that's fair.
So we know that John is also resistant to poison damage.
Or at least bug and poison, probably. So, okay. Yeah, we take that. All right, let's see here. Okay, you both
I think Lorelai needs to talk about Nioh.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
She's going to die.
It's been a month and I haven't been able to talk about Nioh 3. So
tell us about Monster Hunter Stories 3. No.
Look, I can actually do that a lot more. But Nioh is a more interesting discussion from me because I'm a Nioh freak. We all know this.
Yes.
This is not a surprise. This is probably the game, if I was trying to get somebody into the Team Ninja genre of action, if I was trying to sell them on the action part of it, I would tell them, play this fucking game. It feels incredible. However, if I was trying to sell them on it through goofy historical fiction elements, it feels like they fired all of the writers who had any interesting ideas. The story of this game has so little spice, it makes water look like it was made with ghost peppers. And that's me complimenting the story.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's the only fun historical fiction, like the historical fiction stuff in Nioh 2 is stuff like one of the big historical shoguns wasn't actually Hideyoshi Toyotomi, was not his name. It was Nobunaga's ship name for you and your best friend. That's funny. I could sell someone on playing Nioh 2 just by saying that. It's goofy as hell. This one, it's, hey, American comic books are real accurate to history because all important women have the same face. But in this case, it's because they're all the same person. It's just bad. It's bad. The story is bad. Like, calling it bad and bland is, like, very honest. But needless to say, the action is the best they've ever done. I've 100%ed it on both PlayStation and PC in both difficulties. The second difficulty is the best they've done a second difficulty. Because, like, normally a Nioh game comes with, when it launches, it has 2 difficulties. They are the exact same game with HP totals for enemies brought up for the second difficulty. The levels are all the same. Enemies might get one more attack, but it's usually not the case. It's not very interesting. It's the third difficulty, which is where they get really good. Nioh 3's second difficulty, though, is they actually do shift up enemy positions and add a significant amount of more attacks. It's like somewhere between the second and third difficulty of a Nioh game, which is honestly what they should do. And it is so much better of an experience than the base difficulty that it's such a good action game. It feels so fucking good to play. And there are so many more ways to break the game now with your builds. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite part about it. Part of the problem with Nioh 2 and Nioh 1 and Wo Long is once you get past the second difficulty, you kind of have to have a meta build no matter what. And there are very specific meta builds you kind of need to build into to efficiently get through them without just being really, really good at the game and knowing every attack already. Whereas this time they give you so many build options that I have a build right now that I am playing with that's entire gimmick is it holds no weapons and no clothes. I'm running around naked and exploding things with magic and ninja skills in one hit. And it is stupid. But then there's also like another build I was doing earlier, which is like a heavy armor build where I just tank everything, but do so much damage based on, but I can also only do like 2 attacks before my character gets exhausted. It's like really interesting how many more build opportunities there are compared to Nioh 1.
Yeah,
one of sorry.
What were you gonna say?
One of the big things that this game did, I think, story-wise, that frustrated me was it's twofold. One is that it falls in prey to something that Team Ninja does a lot, and I don't believe it is intentional. I believe it is entirely because they operate on a sense of aesthetics over, depth, let's say. And it is that with their construction of mythological and political figures, they end up creating a weirdly pro-nationalist vision of Japan pretty consistently.
Oh yeah.
This one is the worst at it. I think Nioh
your
2.
main character is the guy that did genocide of all that.
Yeah.
Kicked out everyone not Japanese. Did a lot of
the Shimabara, everything. Like, and Nioh 2 was better about this, where Nioh 2 had a combination of showing like, hey, Nobunaga is fucking up the country to some degree, even if he's like doing it with some intentions. And then also, Hideyoshi Yasu is this guy who is evil. Like, and the point of that game is going like, hey, there's a reason for his evil or whatever to some degree, but it's like, I think it captures it like in a much more interesting way, versus here you have just this weird conservativeness. And a big part of that also is the third major map that lets you explore and stuff is the Bakumatsu period, because it's a time traveling game. And the Bakumatsu period is the Reformation like era of Japan, where they had to try to abolish the shogunate and do a bunch of other things. That's where Ryoma Sakamoto, etc., the Shinsengumi are from.
Yeah.
And they kill off, before you get there, like every single member of the Shinsengumi, except for Okita Soji, and also Ryoma Sakamoto, which is crazy. Yeah. Because I know he was just in Rise of the Ronin, but he is the guy, So you end up with Takaaki Shinjuki.
They like legitimately just took what's his name's model out, both of their models out of Ronin.
Yeah, and it's just so weird of like this thing of like they do an interesting thing where you're traveling in Nioh 3 near the end of the game with Himiko, who is the queen of Yamatai, which is the mythical civilization that existed in Japan before antiquity, whatever, like 100 AD, etc. And they use a lot of the mythology from Yamatai, but then like Himiko, they do an interesting thing where they're like, hey, she's Oreo, which is Ryoma Sakamoto's wife. And then they never talk about that and don't do anything with it. And it's just such a bizarre thing of like coming up with these great ideas and then just being like, whatever, move on. And it's like, I don't expect Nioh to have an amazing story, but 2 at least told me that they could try. And they could have like cool moments and do things and fool around with the system they're making. Even Nioh 1 to some extent had that. And I think like the best showcase of how little they care in this one about their story is in the first 2 games, when you run into a character from another country, they speak their language, like Tekken.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because you have the situation where, like the main antagonist of Nioh 1 is speaking in full English to the main character, and then every other NPC is speaking Japanese. And like then the Spanish woman appears and she's speaking Spanish in the DLCs, and that's awesome. And then in this one, it's just everyone speaking Japanese.
And it's like, I think my biggest issue of it is to go into the tea house and look at the amount of characters you can unlock to transform into when you're doing co-op. Previous games like Nioh 1, you could turn it, like if you didn't want to run around as Big Bill, you could turn your character into like a ton of others. Same with Nioh 2. Like Nioh 2, whenever I do co-op, I am never on my created character. I always jump in to help people on some random NPC. This game, there's like 10 of them.
Yeah.
There are barely any character. And even then, some of the characters in the game, they don't even let you buy transformations for. It's like, wait, what? What? Why? This is it's so weird because it is simultaneously my favorite and least favorite of the Nioh games.
Yeah, because the player expression is really good, like in terms of gameplay, and like you said, like the build fixing is so much better in like every way, and it's just
on your first playthrough, I was able to get a friend of mine who just fucking hated Nioh 1 being a Diablo so much with that he doesn't want to engage with the having to come up with a build and whatever. And I had to get it through. On your first playthrough of these, you never need to super engage with build crafting. of your armor and stuff like that. That stuff, you just equip the one with the highest number that keeps the speed in the area you want. So in this game, they made a nice little auto-equip button that lets you just hit a button and it equips the best gear with the speed you want so you can have the dodge you want and the blocking you want. And meanwhile, like other games, you actually had to go through 300 pieces of gear and whatever. So my initial playthrough, I was just doing auto-equip, and then I sold everything else, because it doesn't matter until you get to the higher difficulty, and you get to the extra tier of gear that you unlock. Like, them putting in something like that to take away the really annoying friction from the first two, which I get why people don't like it. They learned their lesson from Stranger of Paradise that had the auto-equip that worked pretty well, if you didn't want to engage with that. And they went with it. It works. It takes away that friction. It lets you get further in the game without having to panic about stuff like that. And that is really, really nice. Like, the quality of life stuff is so much better. The open world, quote unquote, is also just makes things a little more accessible. You get these semi-open areas that are easy enough to explore through, kill some enemies, get your feet wet, but then there are entire chunks of the map that you go into them. That's just a Nioh level. There's one of them in the first area where you go in, and one of my favorite bosses, Daidarabochi, is just throwing giant balls of lasers as you go through a very linear level to get to stopping it. Like, it's very, like, they've got really, really good, like, the level design is frickin' phenomenal all the way through. And that's like the really nice thing. Like, oh, it's so good.
I do think that the friction of Nioh 2 the first time I tried playing it was too immense, because you are right in the sense that it is a bit of a panic. I did feel like a scared horse without its blinders on when I played Nioh 2 for the first time, when all of the stats, and you have to track the elixirs, and you have to make sure that you're picking out a divine weapon or a demon weapon, or this weapon auto switches into this thing, and it's like, it was not until I was gently advised to not care that I finally started actually progressing through those games.
That's the hardest thing about those games, is like getting people to learn that, oh, actually, in the default difficulty, you do not have to engage with that shit. You just put the thing on with the biggest number and the lowest weight. Like, or the weapon you want to learn. Like, Nioh 2, I fucking hate the hatchets. I think that's just an absolute dog shit weapon. It's fucking terrible. I hate it with a passion. Nioh 3, absolutely my favorite weapon in the game. So good, because they simplified it in making it a ninja-only weapon, and it just feels so good to use. Meanwhile, my favorite weapon from both Nioh 1 and Nioh 2, the Kusarigama, I fucking hate it in Nioh 3. I don't have my high stance. What the fuck are you talking about? Fuck you. That's the best weapon in the game. High stance Kusarigama is where I'm praying the DLC adds high stance Kusarigama back, please. But like really, it is like the amount of stuff that they did to existing weapons has made it a worthy trade-off for me that I lose my favorite weapon, and yet somehow this game I am playing as a game, enjoying more than I have any of these games, like, action-wise. It's so good. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Rose, I have to ask, what weapon were you using when you played through?
I've just used the Switchglaive again because I really like it, and double Dual swords on ninja, which
They rule.
how I play a lot. I never did dual swords in any of the Nioh games.
Yeah.
And I've really been enjoying that.
Like I ended up with my samurai weapons being fists and switchglaive. Switchglaive still feels incredible, but fists feels so good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like hatchets are shockingly good.
I like the split staff too. I was fooling around with it.
Split staff is also really like every weapon except for Kusarigama feels great. Like, and even then, I don't think Kusarigama feels bad. You took away my favorite weapon in the game. How dare
I used it too. I was sad.
Yeah, high stance Kusarigama is where it's at.
I really enjoy the weird side effects that they added in this game that kind of weren't around before. Like, I love the dodge and a Scampus pops out to attack them, or there's the helmet you can wear to make every time you shoot them, it's Grunt Birthday Party style. A little ferret just hops out of their head when they die. That's like, it doesn't do anything, it just does that. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, there's so many little things in this game that are really, really good. It's what makes the story thing so, like, depressing to me, because it's just bad. It's like, I was so excited. I'm like, oh, Himiko's here, hell yeah! And then I'm like, oh, great, no, this actually... So, like, just let the Warriors Orochi team write your fucking game. Like, if you're gonna start bringing in all that shit, let them. Give me a. Yeah, no. Nioh 3 is just good. It's weird being conflicted about it.
Sure. I mean,
ultimately, it's the same way I feel about something like Elden Ring, you know? Elden Ring is simultaneously like a 10 out of 10 stapled irrevocably to a 3 out of 10 game.
And that's why Night Rain is so good.
I will not be convinced into playing yet another one. You're not going to get me again.
I can't get you with this one anyway, because there's no fucking crossplay. From Software, if you're listening,
making me so
solve
fucking...
the world.
Like legitimately, I have both versions specifically because I want to be able to play with friends, and I have friends who play on both, and it pisses me off so much. Like, just let me use my PC character everywhere, please. It has a better build.
All right. Rose, do you wish to go ahead with something?
I have things I can talk about, but John...
Please. What?
You never talked about Pokopia last time.
That is true. I could talk about Pokopia.
We need to hear about Pokopia.
Yep. I have legitimately been excitedly waiting to hear you talk about Pokopia, so...
Okay. I can do that then. So... Pokopia was an experience. I actually got to hit credits recently on that. I do really, really love that game. I'm not a farming sim, like city planning sim kind of person. Usually that kind of stuff doesn't really gel with me. I like to have, I like to have structure. I like to have a reason to do things, per se, you know, other than just that it's there. And I respect when a game is that, you know, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I think every game needs to have these goals and all that. Like, you know, people love Minecraft, people love Terraria. It's fine. You know, it's not for me, but you go do what you want to do. That is fine. But Pokopia scratched that specific itch for me because they said, no, you're going to do things because we're going to tell you to do some of them. And then once you get that feel of that, once you know what you're supposed to do, then we're going to let you free. Then we're going to be like, okay, now go. Keep building houses if you so choose. And then it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep building houses. Because I feel bad when, I don't know, fucking Grubbin and Spinrack have a house, but Azumarill doesn't. I feel bad about that. So I end up making more houses. But then more Pokemon move in. So I have to make more houses. For those who do not know, yeah, Pokopia is a game where you're playing as a Ditto who has decided to morph themselves into what they remember their old trainer looking like. Because they wake up randomly in a wasteland, and they meet a Tangrowth named Professor Tangrowth, who's pretending to be a professor. And you and Professor Tangrowth decide to bring life back to this wasteland and then continue to spread that life around past the wasteland into other areas. I suppose, I mean, it's been out long enough, and I think people have kind of talked about it enough that they have that this is, you know, we've hit spoiler territory, I suppose. Hopefully, you know, people. I'm not going to talk about like the ending or anything, but I'm going to talk about the conceit of the game because I kind of need to talk about how well they pull it off. Pretty early on, you start to find like notes left behind, and you know, like it's mostly like notes and newspapers and stuff. That reveals that this isn't just like some random location. This is Kanto. Like, this is the first place that you wake up in is Fuchsia City. And the notes and everything begin to reveal that there were sudden climate disasters that forced humanity to escape off of the planet, and they put all the Pokemon that they could into the PC. Like, you know how in Pokemon games you store your Pokemon in the PC and all that? They were just like, well, we want to keep as many Pokemon as possible alive, so we put them all in the PC, and hopefully when things stop being so horrible, we can come back and let them out. And it's heartbreaking, you know? Like, it's like... It like being able to walk around and see these places that you start to... Once you know that, you start to piece together what each place is, you know, like you walk into, like, the wasteland's a little hard to parse, but the second area that you go to is the Bleak Beach. And, you know, as you walk around, as you're looking around that area, you know, you're like, oh yeah, like, you start to piece together a little bit, but there was just a moment in the beach where you kind of turn a corner, you look out to the ocean, and you just see a big, decrepit ship. And you're just like, oh fuck, I'm in Vermilion City, that's the SS Anne. And it's like completely devastated, like covered in like plants and, you know, like, and then you're able to go into that area and walk around in a 3D space. And, you know, it's like all blocky because it's kind of, you know, like Minecrafty and all that. But I think it does a fantastic job of recontextualizing what you remember to make it not just, oh, I remember that. I know that. They play with your expectation to make it like devastating and really sad. But then there's the added bonus of once you get over that initial depression, you're like, well, I have the power to fix this. Because Ditto meets other Pokemon and learns moves to interact with the environment around them. Like, you can grow grass and chop it down, you can break blocks, you can move furniture around, you can take things and move them from place to place, you can craft things, so it becomes about revitalizing these areas, and that's the real beauty in it, where it's not just, oh, hey, we are going back to this area that you remember, because, you know, it's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, and they very easily could have just been like, we're doing another remake, we're doing another something else that's just like, hey, we're just doing another Kanto game in some way. And they did do a new Kanto game here, but they did it in a way that was like, that is acknowledging the age of Pokemon. You know, like, this is the 30th anniversary, and acknowledging that, you know, the people that started out playing Pokemon are older. Like, you know, I was like 1 or 2 when Pokemon came out, and I'm a 31-year-old man. I'm going to be 32 soon. And, you know, like, grappling with that, it's tough, but it's also beautiful in a way, like to think about how things have changed and also how you can bring life into things, because you know, like you don't necessarily have to just rebuild everything the way that it is. You know, you create new structures in these environments, and you build things in a way that is, you know, you build things to have them be in new in use for different ways. Like, you know, you're not just rebuilding the SSN so that way it's, you know, a luxury cruise liner for people. You're rebuilding it so that way Pokemon can live there. And, you know, you're turning all the cabins into housing for the Pokemon. And I think that's beautiful. You know, I think that's genuinely beautiful. And the something that really surprised me about the game, like the moment of that game, and I'm kind of like getting emotional just thinking about when it happened to me, because the soundtrack is all like new music, which I respect. Like when I started that game up, I was, you know, when I started figuring out like what happened and all that, I was like, yeah, you know, they could have just, you know, just had the old music playing, you know, it would have been whatever. And I had decided to focus on the first area and clean it up really nice and start building a lot of houses and like making it very nice for the Pokemon to live in. And as you're doing that, the like it's like the environment level, it's like a prosperity level kind of thing, like that will go up and the Pokemon will be more happy and more things will be available in shops and stuff like that. And I was in the middle of doing some tasks. My environment level was up to like I think like 7 or 8 or something out of 10, and the soundtrack was playing, and it was the music that had been playing the whole time. But all of a sudden, it wasn't slow. It very suddenly transitioned to a new, like beautiful version of the music from Fuchsia City, and again, like, it wasn't like oh, haha, we're just making a reference. It was like, you've brought this place back. Like, they made it not just for, like, a cheap pop. They made it feel so real. Like, it was a real emotion, and I was just like, again, like, I'm tearing up thinking about it. Like, but when that happened in the game, I full on, like, as soon as I recognized what song was playing, I put my controller down and I full on, like, weeped for, like, a minute, because I was just like, dude, you cannot be doing this. Oh my god. Like, it was beautiful. Like, it was really beautiful. And, like, that is the kind of care that I want to see from something that is, like, a celebration of the past.
Yeah. I think
like,
an interesting thing is that they threaded the needle between... So the games have always felt as an abstraction of the anime, like they're different, right? The
yes.
anime is an abstraction of the games, rather. And it's like you end up with this thing where the anime goes obviously bigger because they can depict a city as a whole city. They can depict Pokemon as characters in the show. And then the games can't really do that, right? They can't, like, Yellow could display Pikachu as like a little abrasive at first and then nice, but they can't have Pikachu displaying personality through your battles and doing things. But this game can do that, which is an interesting thing for me, because it feels like it's kind of capturing the whole of what Pokemon represents to people.
Yes. There have been so many people that have been, you know, enamored with so many different Pokemon that they weren't before because they're able to interact with them directly, you know, like there's, you know, like Ditto, as nobody gave a shit about Ditto like they gave a shit about Ditto now. You know, like a bunch of the cards sold out of Ditto, you know, like on like all the different like card listing sites, because people just want to have Ditto cards now because they love Ditto. There's a bunch of like new Ditto plushies that came out, and then like all the old ones that existed before, you know, like they had like all those plushies that were like, oh, it's the Ditto plush because it has like the Ditto phase on it. Those were, you know, they were selling here and there, but they like immediately sold out, like completely. Everyone just bought all of them because they love Ditto now. People found out that in Japanese, Bulbasaur talks like a Gyaru, and everyone started drawing Gyaru Bulbasaur, and like I think it's a little much how horny everyone got about it, but I do think that it's appealing that it's just like, oh yeah, no, here's this one Bulbasaur that you interact with, and it's like it's talking like a teen, like it's talking like a Yaru that's just like, oh hey, I'm let's get this place humid, y'all. Pokemon love to say yo in this game. It's very funny. A lot of Pokemon say yo.
You'll be very if you like that, you'll be very comfortable when you get to Seattle.
Well, there you go. I mean, like a Pokemon that I found out I love a lot more is like Roly-Coly. They have like the Roly-Coly, the Carkol, and what's the last one? Colossal. They have all three of those in this game. And each of them have pretty different personalities, and I think that's really cute, because it's not like, oh, this Pokemon is just the way that it is. It's like, it more feels like this particular Roly-Coly is like this particular Carkol is like this, because like the Roly-Coly is like a very methodical, like almost robotic speaking Pokemon who kind of has trouble talking to people, and I don't say this in like a denigrating way, but is like kind of autistic coded, I would say. But then you talk to Carkol, and Carkol's just like, I want to ride on the railroad. I want to go so fast on the railroad. I love going fast. And then you talk to Colossal, and Colossal's just like, man, I want to help you build stuff. I want to use my fire powers to help out. Let's get this railroad started so we can move things around, and I'm going to be in charge of some stuff. Like, they all have such distinct personalities that it's like, you can end up liking one part of a Pokemon's evolution line over another part just because of how they interact with you. Like, that's not really something that you do with Pokemon before. Like, how many people are just like, I don't give a shit about like the middle evolution of a Pokemon, because you're not introduced to them that way, and you don't keep them that way. Like, they're a transitional period, and this game does a great job to be like, no, like, you are hanging out with Charjabug for an extended amount of time, but you're also hanging out with Grubbin, and you're also hanging out with Vikavolt. It's like, they're all here. Like, instead, they're like, each step is here, so you're not just ignoring the previous forms. Like, I think that's gorgeous. It's so cool. It goes, I wouldn't say it goes anywhere like amazing story wise, but what is there is just very heartwarming and very sweet. It is the perfect game for Pokemon's 30th anniversary, where it is something different that is still rooted in the nostalgia, but not in a way that is just like, oh hey, it's another remake, it's the same thing. It is acknowledging the game's history, it is acknowledging the series' age, and it's loving the concept of, community and build and rebuilding, and like, I think it's interesting that they are very specifically like, it's just a random climate disaster. It wasn't like they didn't go like, oh, like shit got real bad with pollution. Because, I mean, also at the same time, like, I feel like if they did that, it would be like, y'all got muck. Why isn't it cleaning it up?
Deoxys coming from space killed everyone in my edgy creepypasta version of Pokopia.
Yeah. Nah, like, it's... They threaded the needle. They threaded the needle, like, perfectly. And, like, I have a few little gripes. Like, I don't like how the storage system works, because you, like, have to build boxes that you put stuff in, and then whatever's in there is just there. So if you put something in somewhere that you have to, like, go to a whole nother section. You have to wait for the loading screen to go pick it up, and then use it, and then go back. Like, I would love for, like, that makes sense for maybe the main story or whatever, but I hit credits, and I did unlock some things that I won't elaborate, but I did unlock some stuff that was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely like okay, your post game, you can have more freedom, but I would just love if you, like, I don't know, like, just like put out a patch or something where you meet like Giratina or something, or just a Pokemon that uses like black holes or something, and it's just like, hey, I set it up so all your storage is connected. You know, like just do something like that, and then we're good. So I don't have to go all over the fucking place to get all my stuff. Please. It's such a pain. That is like the one thing that sucks about that game is just like having too much stuff. But it's a delight otherwise. It's just such a delight to be able to do all these things and feel like you're making a difference to all these Pokemon, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It
it's
genuinely
really beautiful.
sounds like, because I know it's the same team that did like the Dragon Quest Builders games that worked on this, and those got progressively better, and it just sounds like they took all of those lessons and turned it into something that honestly sounds kind of special.
It is.
Which, saying that about a Pokemon game is interesting for me. Like
it's Dragon Quest Builders, but with Viva Pinata stuff, because you're like building habitats, and then that makes the Pokemon appear, and then you can like move them around and have them do different things to help you out. Like, oh yeah, you put together this like little area that has like, I don't know, like a fire pit and then some grass around it. And then it's like, oh, well, then now Vulpix is going to show up because it likes to be near the fire. And then once Vulpix is there, it's like, oh, then Vulpix can, you know, light fires in other areas, or it can melt clay and turn it into bricks for you and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, you're building a community and they're all helping each other out, and then you can make houses and put them in there. And it's like, part of it is really cute that you can make a house for your Pokemon, but like, there's a piece of fan art that I saw a couple of days ago that was it was gorgeous art, don't get me wrong, and it also was very heartfelt, where it was just like a Magikarp sitting next to the Ditto, just being like, thank you so much for fixing our habitat, like we couldn't have done it without you. And then it's just Ditto just being like, I'm gonna put you in a house, I'm gonna make you use a doorknob, Magikarp. Like like that's what's going on with this game. It's like, it's both like this super beautiful thing, and then if you think about it for a little bit, it's like, yeah, why am I making this creature that has like leaves for hands use stairs? Like, you know, it's just like well, because they do, like, the Pokemon are very much like, yeah, we want to kind of try to live like humans, and we want to make the world more like how it was when humans were around, because this is their place as much as it is ours. So we want them to have something to come back to, and like that's beautiful. Like, and again, like that captures like what Pokemon is supposed to be. They are these creatures that exist side by side with humanity, and they just love us, and they want us to be there as much as we want them to be there. And like that's what Pokopia is. It's just about like loving the concept of like loving your community, and also loving who you also live with nearby as well. Like it's very nice. It's very nice. I adore it.
Yeah. It genuinely sounds delightful, and I hate that I just grabbed my Switch and bought it.
I hope that they make sequels, not just to like improve on it and everything, but like God, I need to go to like some of the other areas and stuff in other regions. Like just thinking about, you know, like just thinking about being able to like rebuild the like the towers in Ekritique and all that, you know, like just thinking about that, like it's making me feel something already. You know, like be like, oh, you know, you get to like rebuild like the Weather Institute in Gen 3 and all that. Like I want to be able to go to these places and see them in 3D and see them brought back to life via me and my friends helping. That's just, it's a heartwarming thought.
And then there's going to be a human that crash lands back on there and freaks out because they're on the planet of the apes.
I mean, another reason why I think I particularly love this game is that this game is pretty much Apocalypse Hotel as a Pokemon game, which is one of my favorite animes that was on recently. I think everyone should watch Apocalypse Hotel. It is beautiful. It is amazing, and it is very frustrating that there has not been a home release yet. They need to do a home release, and they need to do a dub of some kind or something so more people can watch it. But yeah, it's just Apocalypse Hotel as a Pokemon game, and like, yeah, dude, that's what I want. That's good. Rose, you could tell us about something now. What have you been playing?
Hi.
What's on your list?
I'll say my girlfriend has been playing Dragon Quest Builders 2 because of the Pokopia and us going, oh, the fucking Switch 2, god damn it.
Yeah.
Which seems great. I'm glad that they have continued to expand their concepts over there. I have mainly been playing Marathon with Lily. But I've also been working my way through Resident Evil 9, and which I continue to enjoy, though it is very, very silly. Very, very silly game. Have you finished it, John?
No, I need to continue. I've been playing it for my roommates, like when, it's one of those situations where I'm playing it for somebody else.
Taking forever too.
And they are like they're very busy. I won't blow up their spot. So they've been very, very busy. So I haven't really been able, when I'm by myself, I'm playing everything but that. I want to play it really bad, but I can't.
So did you get to the meat grinder?
No, I don't know.
Okay. All right. That's like one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a Resident Evil game. I shan't spoil it so you can see it.
I watched Jackson do that and
it
was
is so fucking funny.
Laughing.
It made my girlfriend Ari really mad, and she was like, "What is the point of this game?" This is fucking it's so good. Very silly game. I'm at a part where you mainly play as Leon now, so I'm having fun. I think I'm close to being done with that, so I'm enjoying that. I started playing a little bit of Vital Shell, which is a Vampire Survivors. Feels too broad for what it is. It's more like the game's Crimson Land or Brotato. I hate saying Brotato. Where it's like a wave-based thing where you try to survive in various waves while getting upgrades and doing things with stats and builds or whatever. But it's stylized like an Mech Warrior game from the PlayStation 1 with jungle beats and stuff. And I find it very charming aesthetically. It's good to play when I just need something to occupy my mind to some degree before I go to bed, because it's just a short little boom, whatever. I love the aesthetics of it. I love that it has like a PS1 menu directly. Really shows that these people understand exactly what they're doing. Like it's the damn PS1 menu where you're rotating through a bunch of floating 3D models. Good stuff. Fun. It's a fun little thing. It's nothing crazy. But I'm enjoying it. And then the last thing I've been playing a little bit of, I have not gotten fully into it because I wanted to finish Nioh 3 and a couple other things before I fully got into it, is Crimson Desert, which is, I guess I would say, the big AAA release of this month so far. It's from the people that made Black Desert Online, which is an MMO, I guess. But whereas that MMO was pretty much only known for its character creator and its robustness at the time, this is a game where you have to play as Kliff McDuff, who is a strange Scottish mercenary man who doesn't really say much and just walks around this incredibly fantastical world. And it's really something.
Sorry.
Yeah?
What's that name?
Kliff McDuff.
Okay.
Is he a crime-fighting dog?
No, he's just Scottish, which is really funny.
Duffman.
That's like being named John Johnson in Scotland.
God.
Like
Kliff McDuff.
We've got
that
MST3K
seems like the
characters.
kind of name a bunch of like AI using people would come up with. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. So
Makes me think of the one Japanese like game trying to come up with American baseball players image.
But yeah, honestly, I am obviously anti-AI to every degree, but knowing that this was made by like a team of like fucking 250 people, and the AI stuff was in one area, and with how handcrafted the rest of this game is, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt just because it is an insane game. Like, I think it's stupid that ever happened, and that I think the worst thing is they did know that they had been left in there while they were in the lead up to launch, because they quickly added and then removed an AI disclosure from Steam right before launch, which is stupid. But I'm glad that they got called out and that they got rid of it, because this is a really bizarre game. It's kind of like Dragon's Dogma 2, where it is this very mechanical, very not realistic. That's always the wrong word I think of, because people said Red Dead 2 is realistic, and that's not what Red Dead 2 is. It is a mechanical game very focused on simulating certain activities to a very high fidelity, is what I would say. Like, this is a game where you are slowly taking out a broom and then aiming it into a chimney to clean the chimney. This is a game where you are like, aiming your axe at a tree to cut it down, and then the whole tree falls down, and then you have to chop up the tree to get lumber. But it's also an absurdist fantasy game where you are very quickly given the ability to launch yourself in the air, to fly, to teleport to weird things, interact with strange ruins, and do magic things. That's really fun. But at the same time, it's this weird pseudo-grounded thing where you're doing wrestling moves on enemies as your attacks. Like you're doing pile drivers and suplexes, and my personal favorite, the Sonic spin ball, where Kliff all of a sudden leaps very highly into the air and then just starts rotating like a ball really, really fast, and then just does a homing attack on someone. It's absurd. It's just a bizarre game. And that was part of what drew me to it. I had, on a whim, just clicked on the PlayStation Channel's 3-part diary for Crimson Desert before it came out. And it's one of those E3 presentations where they have a guy narrating in a very, dull way that always amuses me. Okay. And it was just talking about, it just kept saying, Kliff is the hero of our story, and he'll do things. And it was just but the things kept getting more insane as the video went on. It was you'll help your mercenary group recover. And you're like, sure, that makes sense. That sounds like an open world game like Ghost of Tsushima or Red Dead, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then it's and then you'll ride a dragon, and it just cuts to real time you flying on a dragon around, and shooting people, and it goes, or a mech, and then it just shows Kliff in a mech, blowing up thousands of guys in a real-time combat. And I'm like, what is this? What is this game? And I don't know. It just looks so insane. And it just kept going. They just kept showing weirder and weirder stuff, like the wrestling moves and everything else. And I have been enjoying the small amount that I played, and I'm excited to play more of it. It is just such a weird game, and I think it's one of those games I play personally, and I go, I'm not saying that we should let AAA games keep existing, but when they make really bizarre, really funny things like this, it compels me. I have to say, it compels me.
Yeah.
One of the only things I've heard as a negative from friends that I know who had a pre-release and seeing reviews for it is that it is one of those games where they are updating things very quickly, which gives me the vibe. Some boss kept saying we don't have to worry about that, and so a bunch of people had a bunch of fixes ready very quickly. Because they are quickly changing a lot of aspects of the game, from control to momentum and inertia to what items you get. Before this game came out, when it was being reviewed, there was no item storage, and you get a lot of items. So it was this thing where people who were playing the pre-release build had this weird experience of oh god, I have to constantly throw things away, or find a place to place it in the real world that's weird, and this is such a weird thing I have to do. And then the day one patch added storage. So it's it's a weird complaint that exists in reviews that isn't real, anymore. And it's such a weird thing. is it. I feel like this is a game that's going to be a lot better for people like in 3 months or something, just of them like slowly working out bugs and doing things. And then like, I do think it's pretty interesting. Like, I think my big problem with open worlds is they're very boring. And a thing that I always loved about games like Oblivion and Skyrim is they're not good games with great stories or anything like that. And the stuff that I'm about to describe is very stupid, but when you run into those NPCs and they say some fucking bullshit to you, like just out of nowhere, like over and over again, I eat that shit up. Like, not the stuff that's in like these other, like Ghost of Tsushima where they go, you must save us. But when they just like, you walk by someone and it goes, I had the best day of my life today. My son called me Pa. And then you just like hear that from 4 different people with 4 different voice actors. Like
everyone's just having a good day with their kid. I don't know.
I love it. I love it. I think it's great. I think it just goes so far as to being like, this is for fun. I don't know how else to put it. Like, this is a funny ass game, and this is going to be fun because I'm going to have these weird experiences and these things that I will remember. Like kind of like the you know, the way people talked about Breath of the Wild to some degree, of this emergent gameplay. Wrong way to use that word, by the way. But this like this, you know, self experience that only you will have through your experience with this game that has a lot of moving parts and things like that. You can create your own weird narrative, and I think that there is a strength to be had in that. I was impressed by how well it ran and how impressive the draw distance is something that really stood out to me as well. Because a lot of these games, they'll be an open world game and they'll put like, you know, hey, this is the thing you're supposed to go to in the air, like over there, and they'll put like a giant smoke plume or something. And here, they don't really do that. They don't really have like those yellow paint style things. They'll give you a general area on the map that you can figure out where to go, but you really do have to scan your like eye line, or like get up high, look around, try to figure out what you're supposed to see or what you can see around, and you can actually see it. It's not just obscured by like, you know, a render limit or a thing. And then that's been really impressive to me technically, because this generation has been one that I'm not one who cares about technical stuff broadly, but this has been the generation of consoles where I have cared the least ever about technology, because it has not felt like anyone's leveraging it in an interesting way. Most of the time you have people doing frame gen stuff and, you know, 4K and ray tracing shit that I just do not care about. But when this is like this is the same thing as SSDs to me. This is a meaningful change that changes the way you engage with the game on a fundamental level. By being able to see further with a draw distance, you are soaking in more of the world and approaching it in a different way than you would with a game that obfuscates everything in the world around you. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of that. I've heard the story is quite bad, so I bet I will be amused by that. But yeah, gameplay-wise, I'm enjoying it.
What else we got cooking? Lorelai, you can go next again. What's up?
Yeah, so I've also been playing the other big game for me during this time of being sick has been Monster Hunter Stories 3. When it came out, I was bouncing between, hey, what do I buy? Monster Hunter Stories, or do I buy Resident Evil 9? Because I don't want to buy 2 games right now. And then I realized, oh, wait, when I get kind of stressed out by stuff, it makes my heart beat faster, and when that thing's rubbing up against your ribcage, make you feel like death. Not a great idea to do there. So I ended up choosing Monster Hunter Stories, and I feel like that was a great decision. That is a really good game. It is a really good monster catcher, monster collector. Do you like cute monsters? Well, you get to look at really cute baby monsters when they hatch out of their eggs before they turn into giant ugly things, and they're beautiful. And I love them. Like, the story it's good. It's not bad. It's not, like, great. It's good. It's getting me moving from place to place. But a lot of the really good writing that I'm enjoying is a lot of the side quest stuff. I really like the characters. I like the way the game plays a lot. It's actually giving me more of what I want out of Monster Hunter than Monster Hunter Wilds has. I keep trying to come back to Wilds and falling off of it in like I'll play it for a couple of weeks. I'll be like, woohoo, I fought Omega, okay. And then I grind it a little bit and I go, yeah, this just isn't what I want from Monster Hunter. And then in Monster Hunter Stories 3, I'm going into an area, I'm grinding the fuck out of it until I'm beating monsters that are 20 levels above me, because there's these invasive species that show up at night, which are like puzzle battles instead of like a hard boss fight. It's if you can figure out how to solve this puzzle, you can beat this thing, and then it goes and it runs away to a nest, and then an extinct monster species has a frozen egg in there, and you can bring it out, and you can fight that monster, that invasive monster, to like kill it, or it just sits there until you're high enough level to actually fully take it on to death. There's just this really nice vibe of, hey, I'm going into an area, I'm catching a ton of monsters, I'm going in, I'm grabbing eggs, I'm hatching them, I'm releasing them back into the wild, and once you get a thing to S rank, then it starts showing up in the world instead of just like at C rank. When you first get them in there, there's a chance their eggs will appear. And then once you get them to S, it's like, oh, then they show up in the world. You brought a thing out of extinction. It's a good feeling. It's a good,
Yeah.
You're running around finding hidden Poogies, doing Poogie races with the Poogie racers, and like,
as you are to do.
There's just a lot of stuff in this game that has just a ton of bright charm, but also has, like, the thing I love about Monster Hunter in the past was, hey, I'm fighting this monster, I'm going to build a build around specifically for it, and I don't need, I need to do some grinding, but I don't need to do like 20 hours of it to take the thing off. In this, I don't need to do a ton of grinding for anything, but I'm still grinding to upgrade my weapons and shifting my build pretty regularly depending on what I'm doing, what area I'm in, and it feels really good. The different weapons feel really good, like just the way they work and the different strategies you have, because every weapon has different skills associated with it. So like, some bows only have like power arrows, power coating to put on your arrows. Some bows will have like 4 or 5 different coatings, but it'll only have an AoE attack, so it actually kind of sucks if you're trying to go after a specific monster part or whatever. Some hammers have that same thing where it'll have like really good monster part damaging abilities, or a really good AoE, and not both, or sometimes both. And like, it's nice going, okay, I know what I'm doing. I ran into a boss I couldn't beat. I'm going to go back to town. I'm going to change up my weapon a bit. Oh, if I kill a couple of these little guys over in that other area, I'll be able to upgrade my weapon to the next higher level and get like significantly more power. Let's go kill a couple of those guys really, really quick, because when you're higher level than something and you just attack them on the map, they die. You don't have to go into a battle. If you want to, you can, but like, you can just go in, okay, I need to grind. Mm-hmm. It takes like 5 minutes because you don't have to go do a long fight, and there's so much charm to it. In like, it's kind of what I want from Monster Hunter right now, more than what Wilds has given me, and that's just a good feeling.
I totally feel what you're talking about with the needing a game that is calmer for your soul. to some degree, because that was definitely me yesterday. I was about to, like, after we did so many marathons, me, Lily, and Spencer, and then I played some with my girlfriend, and I was just like, oh god, I should play more. What if I did some more Rook runs or something? And then I was like, no. We should play something calm. We should play like a turn-based RPG or something. We can't do anymore.
Yeah, it was me after doing nothing but playing multiplayer games about killing and violence, and then I remembered I should actually finish Trails to Azure.
Yeah.
So tell us about Trails to Azure then.
Yeah,
Lily.
go ahead and hit us with that one.
I'm a professional with the segues.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So after saying that, I'm going to say something that sounds extremely negative.
Uh-huh.
But I promise you I'm still having a good time. You just need to trust me.
I trust you.
But Trails to Zero, or Trails from Zero, was kind of like the first of the Trails games I've played so far that didn't feel like it instilled the "yeah, I get it" impulse. Like, so in recent years, I have been kind of spoiled by the game that allows you to end it whenever you want to. So there are a lot of games where it will just kind of say, the end game is over there, you can keep doing your thing, but once you're like in the mood for a conclusion, you can just wander over there. I was actually venting, I think, to two different people like the other night. This is how roughly I got rubbed by this. But okay, so Trails' second chapter did like the near double digit boss gauntlet right at the end of the game, where you're just kind of like, okay, I get that we need to fight every single one of these guys, and it draws out the conclusion of the game past the point where I want to keep playing. Because while I am having a good time, the end game of these Trails, of the Trails series, has always kind of rubbed me the wrong way because of the fact that it seems to lead up to a conclusion, and then it's like, psych, it's actually a second conclusion. And then you play through that conclusion, and then it goes, actually, there's an even bigger conclusion. And then they do a quick aside, and they go, she's not going to expect me to do it a fourth time, but I've done it again to you. And Azure did literally exactly that. And this is kind of a spoiler, but just to give you an idea of what I mean, there is like an honest to God, like mass shooting and terrorist attack that happens. And then we need to escalate on that. And then we need to escalate on what happens after that.
Wow.
And then we need to escalate on what happens after that. And then we need to escalate on what happens after that. And the thing is, Trails to me has always been in the strength of its writing, its world building, the joy that I feel seeing characters achieve catharsis. And the thing that made me like stop playing last night left me on such a sour note, because here's what happens, okay?
Okay.
You have just finished a dungeon. After re-exploring the entire, like, micronation, and you've explored this dungeon, and it feels like a conclusion. You've literally climbed the tower up to the conclusion. Actually, this guy wasn't the bad guy the whole time, it's a different guy.
Okay.
And then that person makes a second bigger tower on another part of the map that you have to go over to.
Oh, please, it's a tree.
That's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of funny.
Okay, but Rose does mention that it is a tree, and do you know what trees have? They have branches, because in this dungeon there are micro dungeons for everyone's individual traumas.
Ooh.
You have to clear all the micro dungeon traumas to get to the actual ending.
Oh, babe, but can I tell you a payoff moment that's beautiful?
I mean, I am literally about to go play it.
No, not from
so
that.
if you want...
From a different game. And it's mainly a joke. In Cold Steel 2, which happens concurrently with Trails to Azure, there is a part where everyone is on their airship. And they're like, gosh, well, we should probably go down in the south now. And good Lord, what is happening over there? And then you just see the giant tree appear in the distance. And I really like that because it's just like this moment of like, oh yeah, that's happening right now, huh?
The thing is that she's not even exaggerating because it's not like the main villain put up a nice little oak tree. Ain't that nice? They put up like an Elden tree Yggdrasil where everyone in the continent is just like peering over with their binocs and they're just going, what in the fuck is happening in that country over there?
Ooh, I don't know what's going on over there. No.
We'll find out what's going on there when they finally localize it 10 years from now.
And the thing is like, I don't hate the story. I really don't. But the problem is, and the problem consistently that I have with the end games of Trails is that the dungeons feel... Okay, I have to use a TTRPG metaphor because I'm a TTRPG head. The main villain is set up. We know what the pieces are on the board. And then the game says, actually, I spent a lot of effort prepping all of the side villains, so if you could fight all 14 of them in a row, just please don't make me waste my prep. I promise, like, next time I won't do that. But I kind of got too excited and I wrote 14 villains for my game. I need you to fight all of them. And, like, I get it because you did the power thing and you can't just be like, we can't fight all of them at once and it'd be kind of lame if one of them died off screen or whatever. But they kind of do it every time where they introduce literally, like, a dozen people you have to fight. And they do make you fight them all in a row. And you better believe that each one also gets their own trauma-related dungeon. And you better believe that for some reason they are immune to every status effect.
Because it's trauma.
And also, you better believe that they have a special attack that kills everyone instantly. And the thing is, it doesn't change the fact that, like, the first 50 to 60 hours of this game are amazing. I still love the city of Crossbell. I still love exploring. I still love just chatting people up. I just like, I mean, again, we've all had cities, I presume, that we've loved, and you've just kind of sat there and you've looked around and you're like, wow, there's a city around me. I do that virtually because I live in my house and I don't go outside unless someone forces me to. But I do that in a video game, and I specifically do it in Crossbell because it's a really good city. But there comes a point where Granddad is reading the storybook to you and he's getting a little confused and he keeps adding chapters that weren't actually in there. And you're like, Granddad, I kind of wanted to go to sleep like 2 hours ago. And he's still reading, and he promised he would read the book, and he's still reading it. And that's kind of what these always consistently feel like, where I don't feel like I need the emotional payoff of what if the sluttiest member of the church fights with a street punk and we ought to see who's superior. I don't really need to, I could have lived without that.
The Fujos need it, okay?
I guess
this was 2010. They had Sasunaru. That was it.
Dying.
They hadn't invented gay people yet.
No.
They were like, it doesn't get much better than Ellen Light.
Gay people were only invented in like 2012.
Yeah. Wazy was actually the prototype.
Okay.
But again, the thing is, it's like, that sounds so negative. That sounds like a massive, like, you know, I'm rethinking playing this game. The game is still excellent. It's just, it's like getting to the end of a song and the encore won't end and they keep trying to crescendo on the crescendo and your ears are kind of starting to hurt and you were kind of uninvested 3 or 4 cannon shots ago. But we kind of, you know,
but it's there.
Good song, so yeah. I love content. Give me a dungeon. Feed me a stray dungeon.
Ugh.
But anyway, my key point is I'm enjoying myself, but I really, really, really wish that someone just took like a big pair of scissors and just snipped off a couple of these dungeons where, and again, I could write probably a whole essay on how video games despise dungeons and they won't stop putting them in there. Mm-hmm. How many video games have you played where there's a dungeon that's just like a hallway because they're like, well, it's the villain's base, we can't have it not be a dungeon. But then the game itself, clearly through its design language, is really not interested in having you be that challenged, so the door is locked, so you have to do like a curly Q and then you unlock the door and then you go through. This is all a very tortured, lengthy metaphor, which I think works well as a metaphor for the ending of Trails. Mm-hmm. We're still going, and I'm really tired. My eyes hurt. Great game, though.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the pacing of their combat consistently. Like we've talked about it, but it's like they've realized that they don't need to do as many dungeons later on, but then they're still doing fights, and it's like, I don't even know if you need the fights, you know? You could just do a cutscene. I'd be fine with just a cutscene, you know? I say as a GM a lot, that's tabletop again. Mm-hmm. If a dice roll doesn't matter, if you as the GM already knows that this doesn't matter,
then don't do it.
Why are you having me roll on it? Mm-hmm. And again, I was showing Rosary one of the fights I was doing in the end game, and the guy just instantly clears your party and kills you, and then she just kind of goes, so if you beat that fight, he actually reveals it was a shadow clone the whole time and then kills you anyway. Yeah. And then it's like, why do that to me? What are we doing?
Because it's epic, I don't know.
Well, again, if you want to show me that the big, cool, strong guy is epic, just have him bonk me. Don't have him, like, waste all my resources and then make me really frustrated for an hour. And there's like, oh, you finally made him crack his mask. You broke his mask. You're the first person that ever did that. He's still going to kill you in one hit, though. And again, I know how that all sounds. I'm still having a great time as a person who loves eating hype moments and aura for breakfast. But
I mean, I just put out my Trails Beyond the Horizon review, and it's like, I start that review by going like, hey, I'm going to complain about some stuff. And then it's like, by the way, 5 out of 5. Love this game. You know, like, it is one of those things where you can't abstract past it. It is still frustrating, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the core things that make the game so good are all consistently present, regardless of the issues.
And that's exactly it. It's like having to go get blood testing done, and it sucks. Yeah. But then you can reward yourself with a hamburger afterward. Mm. The blood testing still sucked, but you know that the hamburger is waiting for you on the other side.
That's true.
I don't know. I just think that a lot of video games, even just outside of Trails, are really just not interested in dungeons, and yet it's that kind of thing where you can't... I mean, again, it's like a Metroidvania where it's like, well, the Metroidvania is like historically set in a castle, so it always needs to be in a castle. And it's like, well, what if I don't want to set it in a castle? But it's got to be in a castle.
It's got to be in a castle.
Even Castlevania realized they didn't have to do that, and they started putting them in fucking horrible towers in Spain, and there were 2 of them, and they're in the Sega Genesis.
They jumped into paintings like Mario Party.
Yeah. Someone just goes to a town.
Yeah.
Order of Ecclesia, she's just wandering the open world map, and everyone was really mad about it. Even
there's just places.
Like,
that's what it's like being a woman, you know?
Sometimes you just go... Women be going places.
Women be existing in areas.
Women go to a secondary location. So who wants to talk about Occult Crescent?
I'm down to talk about the OC.
Yippee.
The main thing is that Occult Crescent came out in May of last year?
For Final Fantasy XIV, by the way, for those listening.
Mm-hmm. For Final Fantasy XIV. Do you want to know the nightmare I've been living in? I haven't even gotten all of the different types of rocks that you need to chew on to get the cool sword.
You're in the candy form. Yeah. Oh,
I'm
God,
playing
I'm sorry.
Candy Crush right now.
Oh, God. That step was... I was so fucking pissed off by the end of it that I was like, look, I'm just going to go... I had spent probably 30 hours working on that step, and I still didn't have any of the purple. And then I got 3 in a row from just open world fates. Mm-hmm. I was so fucking mad.
And the thing is, obviously, that makes it sound like a nightmare. I have not literally been grinding it since May, but the progress is so slow that I just, every time I go, maybe this will finally be the Dark Knight relic I don't get. And I'm still here. I'm still crunching on gummy bears. They're kind of stale, but I'm still there.
I mean, it's a good thing that I actually like the fights that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I like roaming the area, and now that they've actually fixed the rewards so that, hey, you can get some gold by not having to engage with assholes, like, it's been nice.
The other thing is that I've been playing it again, and every time I play it, Rose rubs her hands together like an evil wizard because she is trying to get me to play harder content.
Are we? We gotta take you into extreme sometime. We gotta do it. Current extremes. I've pitched it before. We gotta do it.
I would do it. I'm not like scared of attempting it. It's mostly one of those things where the only time I've done hard content in an MMO has been Destiny 2. So my understanding of it isn't great. And also
it's 5 men yelling at you.
Well, exactly that. Well, okay. For Destiny 2, it's 5 men yelling at you, and one of them doesn't even have the right gun equipped to do the thing that we're doing. So technically he's in the wrong, but I'm getting yelled at somehow.
That sounds about right for Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I would love to do extremes. I would even love to stream it for the site, but it's also one of those things where it will reveal that I'm not very good at this game.
As somebody who raids in Party Finder, I can guarantee you I've seen worse.
What was it? Was it you that I sent the screenshot, Rose, where I was like, I queued into a dungeon and it was 60 minutes. It was 60 minutes in the cenote.
Yeah, just an easy ass dungeon. It's grim.
Yeah,
it's dire out there.
I've had some real ones in my expert roulette because I have a rule. Like if I'm in a regular like expert roulette, if I get a disaster group, I will dip out, but I will not do that if I'm doing a mentor roulette. I have had 45-minute Aurum Veils and stuff like that. Like I have had 45-minute very easy dungeons.
Okay, so 45-minute post Aurum Veil changes or pre Aurum Veil changes?
Post.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What happened?
There are people who are very bad at this game who still play this game. Who play the game.
I guess that's only fair.
I keep
like it.
Thinking of this healer we ran into recently who didn't say anything the entire dungeon, and they weren't very good. And then at the end, out of nowhere, they said, "Honk Shua, sleep on that thing." And this was like 4 days ago, and I was really confused.
They were time traveler. They just came out of like a cryo.
Yeah, they just woke up from the coma.
Oh, my favorite one the other day was not the current dungeon, but the one before, where you have the second boss is 4 separate bosses for individual people to do their own thing. I was doing it on healer. I killed my boss first, and then one of the melee died because they were typing that I am clearly a toxic player. And I'm like, bro, I've been healing you through 3 vuln stacks. You haven't died yet. How am I because I did damage as a heal. It was very funny. There are people who play this game who are very funny.
I mean, I have like a knee-jerk like terror response when I queue into the garbage raid. You know, the garbage raid with the garbage man in the lava tank?
Oh yeah.
Because it's a raid mechanic in normal raids that requires people other than the tank to do something. And I think it was the most targeted that anyone has ever been to me in their meanness. Where I was playing as an Astro and I was still kind of learning Astro, and someone was like, hey, maybe you should go play Devil May Cry. You might actually be good at that instead. And I was like, you got mad enough at me to go look at my adventurer play it while we're in the middle of playing? Why are you telling me this?
Oh God, people who play that, you run into the weirdest people, and I come away from it actually, like, whenever those happen, I kind of feel joy because it's almost always hilarious.
I don't know. Once again, by the way, I love Final Fantasy XIV. I don't mean to turn it into the grouse hour right toward the end of the game sharing segment, but we can hate or we can see the things that suck in the things that we love.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes in 14, it is the other people.
Oh, my favorite one the other day was during match 10, which is depicted in my background here. It's the surfer bros.
Right where we ought to be.
Yeah. You get to listen to Twink 182 for a few minutes and beat up some gay bros. It's wonderful. But the last time I did it in Savage. There is the point where they both come out at the same time. I always shift who I dance partner because I will start on whoever does the most individual damage, and then I will shift to whoever does the most two-target damage. The last time I did it, I shifted dance partner. The person immediately ran into the wall, started screaming about me shifting dance partner, and quit. And it was the funniest thing. Like, it was just, that has happened to me multiple times, and I laugh hysterically every time because the people who only care about their big number it's just so weird to me. It's like, you should just care about killing the boss.
I'm too fixated on not dying to be worried about this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, here's a good idea. Let's just kill the boss. Like,
it's also funny because, again, it is a universe where a person can be incredibly toxic to you, and then I can't help but just think to myself, bro, I'm a fucking walking rabbit. Why are you yelling at me?
Yeah.
You're like 3 feet tall.
It's always fun.
Bro, we are literally cartoon cats. Why are you yelling at me right now?
Because number need big. Need purple.
And that's why Mugenics is the most evil game in the world. Anyway.
Those numbers don't even go that high.
Why not?
I don't know. They go to like 12.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we've been talking about, bunnies and whatnot. John, what about horse girls?
What about horse girls? They added a new mode to Umamusume, like a new story thing, and it feels like you're killing your horses. It feels like you're killing them.
You're sending them to the glue factory.
No, you're not sending them to the glue factory. It's like you're sending them to like a normal machine factory, but then you're shoving the horses into the gears. That is what it feels like. So they have a new mode called people are calling it MANT because it stands for Make a New Track, I think, but it's basically just a new storyline thing where it's not really story based. They pretty much just have a thing that you can do that is all races. Like, you just get extra bonuses by doing more races. So people found out that the best way to do this is to just race and race and race. And like, in normal runs, you're maybe doing like 9 to 11 races or something like that. In this, I did a run where I did 38 races in 3 years.
What are you doing to your horses, man?
Yeah.
I'm turning them into dust. I'm grinding them.
You're putting your horses
turning
into the
them in-
Resident Evil meat grind.
I'm putting them in the machine to torture Squidward. But the thing is it produces results. I got my first S rank horse from doing it.
This is how John became a capitalist.
Like having bad runs for me now is getting an S rank. That's
it's
you get stupid numbers. But they're always like half the time, like half my SS's and like even my one UR is like max power, but all the other stats are at like 800, so it actually sucks shit in PvP.
Yeah, they are. It's very funny because there is a specific moment in because there's like a little bit of story, like a little teeny tiny bit, where you get accused of overworking your trainee, and everyone's like, no, it's not true, and then you're supposed to like prove that it's not true, and I'm just sitting there like, dude, no, it's 100% true. Like I just had to spend some points on an energy drink to make it so she doesn't pass out, and a bunch of scrolls that make her smarter, and also a nasty ass like kale drink that makes her full of energy, but slightly sadder. So then I have to force feed her a cupcake after that, which makes her happier. It feels fucked. It just feels completely fucked all the way through, but it works.
So now I'm evil for playing eugenics. I see how it is.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I do like how it does bring up you are so mean for over racing your girls. The response is, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to race them just as much as I did last year.
Gonna keep going. Cause the way that they structure it is that, because in the original version of the game, you know, you have to balance like racing and training and resting and doing other activities and stuff. But in this one, they made it so when you win races, you earn points that you can use in a separate shop, and so then those items can be used during your playthrough. So basically, it's just like you win a bunch of races, you get a bunch of points. You use those points to like buy items to refill your energy or to boost yourself more. So it's just a loop of doing that, pretty much. It's just like, yeah, it's just cut the training and everything else out of the equation because it is just racing to get more points. So I mean, you know, it's like in the like story, you know, like, because they're all racing anyway. Like you're training on the days that you're not racing in the game, so it's not like you're really torturing them, you know. But it just feels like it. You are. It feels like it. It's bizarre. It does make me feel like a villain, but.
No, I just wish it didn't take as long. Like it used to be
long,
during like events and stuff. I do like 3 daily races because you could get through a season with resting. If you were doing skips, like you could get through a season in 10-15 minutes. Now it's half hour at the minimum, pretty much. Yeah. Even if you're skipping everything. I like to watch the races. I ain't watching the races anymore because that would take fucking 10 hours.
Yeah, because you're doing so many races. It's just like, yeah, you're sitting there watching like a maybe 2 or 3 minute race. You know, it adds up.
Like, yeah, it's just very like I understand now. Like I was watching a friend of mine who's been playing the original version of the game since it launched. Just like, oh yeah, this is the one that everyone hates, and I get it. Like, I mean,
it produces the best results. Like, I was very thankful that people said very early on, like, listen, buy the clocks, because there are like clocks that you can buy, that you can use to redo races. Basically, like it's like in story, it's basically like, oh, it makes it so the race that you lost was a bad dream. Yes, we are, Maverick. We're talking about Mant. And so I read, they were just like, just trust me, buy the clocks whenever they show up in the shop, like before that, because you can retry up to 5 races per run for this story. And so early on, you will just like lose races sometimes because, you know, you're doing the races instead of training. But then you redo it, you get the bonus points for doing the race, and then you can also upgrade them with the points that you get for the shop. So you're like kind of forcing it through. You're just like, no, you're gonna get lucky, you're gonna get first place, just try it again, you know? Like it's just, again, it feels so evil.
I'm gonna buy all of my things that cure leg plague.
Yeah, like your horse will like break out in hives and you have to buy ointment for it and stuff. Like I never ran into any of the like illnesses and shit that you can run into. And then you just, you know, you enter the shop for the first time when you go into this mode and it's like, oh yeah, no, like you can get like all these different conditions, and I'm just like, I didn't even know that, because every other time I play through this, I was, you know, like, the worst thing I did was, like, maybe they were a little tired because they, you know, did training on a day where they should have rested.
Got some migraine.
Like, yeah, but it's like, no, they're gonna have the plague, and you need to fucking bring in a cure. It's fucked.
I mean, it's only 40 points for the cure everything.
Exactly. So it's worth it. Yeah, it's fine.
The only time you train is during the summer, and like, yeah, it's...
Yeah, so then you feed them a bunch of stuff that makes it so the training goes crazy during the summer. You compile those for the summer, and then once it hits, you're going a crazy mode.
You're getting 80 plus points going into things.
It's like, so good, though. It hits every time. You press that button and you see Kita-san Black, and you're just like, yes. I do it every time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do it every time.
I'm not hiring any one of you people to be a pet sitter. I'm scared of what you would do to the animals if you thought there was an efficiency exercise involved.
Yes, exactly, Mav. Put on these ankle weights.
Put on the ankle weights
and drink this kale juice.
Get the fuck out there. Go run on some sand.
God.
Haruke Iko. All right? But yes. That's that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, yeah, I guess we talked about everything else. All right, so yeah, I'll just talk about this. A few things that I've been playing. I've been playing some older games. I am doing it. I'm still working on that article for Old School Gamer that I hope you will check out if you wish to read a magazine that is physical or digital. The amazing digital magazine that you can get. But there is, I'm going to write an article about older monster collector games that aren't Pokemon or like major ones like, you know, your Digimons, your Monster Rancher. Like, I basically was like, it needs to be at least more obscure than Monster Rancher was my criteria. So I've been playing some of those games, and at first I downloaded some of them to play them on like, I got like RetroArch on my Xbox, and I have my Analog Pocket, so I could run stuff off of that. But then I saw some people posting about RetroAchievements, and I was like, what if I just hop on, like, or just run an emulator with RetroAchievements, and I try those games that way? And it adds a little bit to it, and it's nice. I was playing some, what was I playing? I mean, I could pull it up on RetroAchievements and see. I was playing Azure Dreams, and I have opinions on that. I'm not gonna say them too much because
your opinions are correct.
Because I want you to go purchase the physical magazine that I'm writing for, you know. But having achievements pop while I'm playing this old game it's just funny. It's just funny, so I like it. I played Community Pom. They have a Community Pom achievement set, which is really funny, but really good. And then I played a good amount of it, and then I hit a point where it's like, okay, you get an achievement for like beating bosses without getting hit, and that's difficult. But also, I can do it, so I'm just trying my best here. I will do it sometime. But then it's also just like, man, I'm just trying stuff now because they have retro achievements. I downloaded a homebrew Game Boy Color game called Hatsune Miku Bomb Squad. And I played through that. I played through it all the way through and got all the achievements for it. So that is my first mastered retro achievements game. It's Hatsune Miku Bomb Squad. I mean, I'd recommend it if you like puzzle games, if you like something that basically all it is it's like you have like a few squares, and then when you press the button on them, it shifts between different shapes and colors, and then you have on another screen you have a list of like clues basically, and you have to make the squares line up with what the clues say, and it's just it's presented as if you're defusing a bomb by making it match. And Hatsune Miku is there for some reason. I don't really know why. She's just there, and she's just like, hey, guess what? You know what? You may know me from music, but actually this whole time, I'm a bomb disposal expert, and you're gonna learn how to dispose bombs. And then when you finish the game, she sings a little bit, and that's it. And I liked it. It's cute. I would recommend it. And again, I would have never played it if I didn't see randomly that there was an achievement set for Hatsune Miku Bomb Squad. Maverick is saying that there is a section in the game hall dedicated to achievement perverts at MagFest. And I fully believe that. Because, I think it's cute. I think it's... Like, the thing is like, you look at achievements in... your trophies, achievements in current games, and some of them can be interesting, and some of them, but a lot of them are just like, general progression stuff, etc., etc. I do appreciate when a game goes out of its way to be like, or for these fan-made sets to be like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna make you really dig into this game and do stuff that's not just, what's already there. Like, I've played through Spyro on PS1 as well as the Reignited version, and I 100%ed. I got all the trophies for the Reignited version because that actually has a trophy set on, because it's a modern game. But now I'm like, man, you know what? I might, because I mean, I replay Spyro every year, but I'm like, I think this year I'm going to play through it and try to get all the achievements on retro achievements. Like that seems like a fun way to revisit that game, and it's different stuff from what they ask of you from the Reignited version. So I'm not just going to be doing that again. Like most of the achievements are the progression stuff, of course. Like it's I'm gonna be popping achievements for beating all the levels, but hey. They have different stuff on here. Like I'm gonna let me see what they have. It's like, like like maintain a glide for 5 seconds. Sure, I'd have to figure that out. A bunch of like beat a boss without taking damage. I'm sure I could do that. It's fun. It's very, very fun to have that stuff going on. And then I've also been messing around with Pokemon XD on Switch Online, which, I mean, I guess I could be playing it with achievements if I wanted to, but I don't, because, I mean, I do, but it's on my Switch, so it's easier to access. And so I've just been playing it on there a little bit. And I don't have too much to say about that. It's easier than I remember it being because I'm an adult now, so it's like, I'm interacting with this normal. I'm a grown man, and I can understand double mechanics better. I'm not just slapping my Pokemon together. It's like, no, I should have coverage. I should have coverage. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I would love to hear. I mean, have any of you tried retro achievement stuff? I know that Rose. I know you're a big achievements person. Have you tried retro achievements? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
It really depends on the game. Sometimes you have someone who's been really inventive and thoughtful about how you actually engage with the game, and they do what I talk about being the positive thing with, good trophies are things that make you think of playing a game in a certain way, right? They're trophies that try to showcase aspects of the game that the designers want you to see, or that people who love the game want you to see. And there are a lot of those. And then there are ones like the Mega Man Battle Network ones. Not good ones. Not good ones. Because you'll see this if you dive into some of the Pokemon ones, because they have similar things of like, this is a cute idea, but then it's like, all right, defeat Faulkner with a full team of only Johto Pokemon, and you have to have it be set to set battle, and also like no one can be higher than level 7 or whatever, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it becomes not like a fun way to interact with the game.
The easiest way to find out if a game has the bad kind of achievements is if it has over 100.
Yeah, that's a good point,
but
for sure.
But when they're fun, like there are a bunch of NES games that have really good ones. Like some of the Ninja Gaidens have fun ones, and a couple of like Shadow of the Ninja I remember fooling around with, and there are some GBA ones that have good options. It's just sometimes the sickos there, and it's usually Pokemon. It's usually like the deck building ones or the creature collector ones have some pervert achievements.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking on. The thing is I'm looking on Community Pom here. That there's they have 207 achievements for that. So
yeah, so it's gonna be like do literally every conceivable thing that was ever imaginable, which is like, I get it to some extent, and there is something to be said about not going for every achievement. You don't necessarily have to. You can just like Spelunky was one I always think of. I did end up going for all of them, but for the longest time I was like, I'm fine not getting the minimalist don't pick up any gold achievement that's really hard, because I went for Speedlunky, which made me happy to accomplish that.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's the funny thing is like, I looked through this beforehand because I wanted to see what the achievements were, and like, honestly, most of them are just pretty standard stuff. Like, I mean, like half of it is progression stuff, and then there's like a bunch of them where it's like beat the bosses without getting hit, and that's again pretty normal. And then a bunch of them are also just like, recruit this guy, build this house. Like, the only thing that I don't like is that there's a few of them that are like, that you're basically gonna have to replay the entire game to get them, because it's like, finish the game without having built anything in your community. And then there's another one that's build everything that you can build in your community. So it's like, yeah, you're doing 2 whole playthroughs for one achievement. Like, I don't respect that.
Yeah,
but
that's part of my problem. But I still like it, especially like on the Steam Deck. They have like a thing that lets you just pop up the achievements, which is nice.
Yeah, I respect the concept of it being like, okay, you can choose to do one of those things, but then they're like, oh, but you didn't master it, and it's like, motherfucker, I did.
Who are you to tell me?
Yeah.
There are just some games where I will never get all of the achievements because I've tried to engage with the game in the way they want me to get all of their achievements, and that's not how I want to do it. It's like, there's literally like, I have one Nioh 2 achievement I have yet to get, and I will never get it, despite the fact that I literally put 1,000 hours into that game a year, 1,000 plus hours into that game a year, because it's just like, that is not how I want to engage with the game. That is not something I want to do. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
I just remember fucking Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I have like every achievement except for one, and it's because the last one is fucking beat the entire game again on hard. And that game is so long.
Jeez.
Like, I did it in Final Fantasy VII Remake because hard difficulty was genuinely fun to go back through.
And also, that's not a super long game.
Yeah.
But Rebirth, there's not a fucking chance in hell I'm going to do that one.
I was almost ready to do it because I was thinking like, okay, mainline's not that bad. And they're like, oh no, you think this means only mainline? No, we mean every side quest again. And I was like, no, we're not. Are you insane? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To answer the question in the chat, I mean, I beat Pokemon Colosseum and XD when I was a kid. I'm only a little ways into XD right now, and once they re-release Colosseum, or maybe I don't know if I want to do like a whole download retro achievements thing if it's just gonna get if it's gonna show up on my Switch in a couple of weeks or whatever.
There was an XD ROM hack I saw somewhere recently that I need to check out.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to check out stuff like that for sure, because it's neat to have it's neat to mess with those games, because there's so much potential that I think is just stymied by just like some of the constraints of the Pokemon battle system, and I think XD does a much better job. Like Colosseum is kind of a mess. XD is a good game, I would say. Like Colosseum's not like terrible, but it's so frustrating in so many different ways, and XD like definitely improves on that a lot. But to answer what they were saying in the chat there about the explosion self-destruct team on Mount Battle, like that is very funny. That is something that like a competitive player would use. Same thing how in Colosseum. Again, it's not like super deep strategy or whatever, but I love that in Colosseum, one of the bosses is just a guy that alternates his Pokemon using Earthquake and Protect, because Earthquake hits everybody on the field, but if you use Protect for your second Pokemon, it's like they don't get hit. So like that's something that competitive people have to do, like you're going back and forth using Earthquake, but it makes it so you have to like there's that initial hump of, oh man, like I'm not gonna be able to hit my opponent every other turn kinda, but then you figure it out and you're like, okay, so I have to just make sure to hit the Earthquaker, and then because you can't really use Protect two times in a row, it fails most of the time.
Yeah.
So I like that. Like that's fun. It makes you interact with the battle system smarter, for sure. Very, very cool. Very cool. I love pocket monsters. All right, let's wrap this up with questions. So we did get some. If you want to send in a question, you can go to your email client of choice, and then go to podcast@gamesline.net and send it there. Or you can go to our Discord server, which is if you type in thegamezone.zone into your web browser of choice, you can come hang out with us. You can come chat. And there's also a thread in there to send questions, and you will sound like this. First off, it's one from Solon. Hello, Solon. Thank you for sending a question. And it is, I've been thinking about how common genres of games have changed over their histories. What genres do you think have had the most or the least change since the pandemic? In other art forms, genres don't mechanically change all that dramatically, but since games require building an entire engine for a thing to work, we have lots of spaces for improvement, and we usually use software development structures to find optimizations that become genre conventions. So, since 2020, what genres have changed the most, in your opinion?
I would say the two that come to mind immediately are that sort of wave-based one I talked about with Vital Shell earlier, because it has been completely taken over by the Vampire Survivors of the world. It is that, and as an extension of that, it is the roguelike space broadly, where you are either seeing something change into a Hades style, like hub-based thing, like Returnal almost is like that to some degree, where you gradually eke out a narrative, or more likely you have an extrapolated roguelike that is entirely based off of the meta progression, a la Vampire Survivors and things like that. And those are the things that definitely come to my mind.
Sure.
fundamentally, I was going to say literally the exact same thing. With the way roguelikes are and the way that they are designed to be kind of game loop engines, which are designed by their nature to keep you playing over and over. That kind of iterative process where you see this rapid, synthesis of ideas where you'll see stuff like your Mega Bonks, where it's like, okay, what if it was Vampire Survivors, but this? What if... It's very easily to be iterative in the same way that it is very easy to be derivative. And if I was allowed a comment on, that kind of thing, specific to video games, why I think it is so easy to do, in something like the film language, we see like film motifs where we'll see an artist do this with a camera and someone else needs to or can just replicate that thing. As to that, in the same way, we have the game design convention of never rewriting the same code twice. If we see the implementation of someone doing something, it is very easy to just grab that exact code and then just slap it into another thing. It's the thing I've said before, where it's like if you dig far enough down into the DNA of gaming coding in a first-person shooter, you'll still find Quake if you dig deep enough, because at this point it makes no sense programmatically to rewrite what has already been written. And in that same way, roguelikes are specifically very... We can see that iteration happen much more rapidly because those are games that are, from an asset perspective, very quick to make, but also it is very easy to just throw a mutator in there, and now that's a new, $6 game.
I would also say action games, because they have sort of gone from, it was very obvious that Dark Souls took over the world, and we are still kind of there to some extent over the last 10 years. But since 2020 specifically, guess what came out in 2020? Genshin Impact, which has drastically informed, I would say, the entire mid-range line of action games going forward into this weird cooldown-based system.
Yeah.
The weird cooldown-based system that there's also 20 Genshin Impacts now.
Yeah.
You could show me Wuthering Waves and I just see Genshin Impact.
Yeah, and that is definitely something, but also that feeds into the broader scheme also of you have games that are like Genshin that aren't even those games. Honestly, Tales of Arise to some extent is this weird game where you're doing call-ins for moves instead of actually meaningfully playing as a different character.
I mean, we see that nightmare where stuff like Zenless has a bunch of clones that are they're 10 degrees away from being a character action game, but they're a Zenless Zone Zero,
Yeah.
They're that instead of engaging with the actual intricacies that would make it a character action game.
Yeah.
Same thing with the
Yeah. Sorry, no, I was just kind of agreeing with you, and then sorry, the idea popped out of my head there.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I mean I lost.
Yeah, it's gone.
My brain was going. It was gone.
All I was going to say is that we see that same kind of combinatorial approach with something, I mean, again, mentioning it again, like Lies of P, where Lies of P is still got one foot very much in the Dark Souls paddling pond while also having one foot in the Devil May Cry territory. And it's always this thing where it's I just wish you could go just a little. You can keep a little Souls just nudge the clock arm a little bit in the other direction. But
yeah. I'd put RPGs in that section these days because it's somehow Expedition 33 feels like this revelatory new thing, even though it does nothing new. It is legitimately a games that I've been replaying Shadow Hearts recently, and I'm just yeah, that's this. I've been watching friends play Lost Odyssey recently, and it's yeah, that's this. But it's because the genre has shifted so much because so many companies were scared of certain aspects, and because we needed it to be AAA, the JRPG has become the everything genre again, where somehow Devil May Cry is a JRPG, because Final Fantasy 16, like old school Final Fantasy is a JRPG because turn-based is the thing. Like everything is like it's everything and nothing at the same time. And
I think that's a distinctual divide between, like, if you compare something like Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 11 is kind of like this bastion of the old school in the sense that it wants to be this slow, methodical, menu-based experience where a lot of the gameplay experience is derived from the abstraction of menus, where we compare something like Final Fantasy XIV, which is very much in the prestige kind of space where it is all about the spectacle. Like, you have the pounding music, you have the moves that are reminiscent of something from an action game, we have those kinds of things, and I don't think it's cynical to say that on a base level, even though there are people who still want the traditionalist JRPG with menus and the turn-based combat because there's something appealing to that, and I think in some interesting ways, Final Fantasy is like the remakes are like a combinatorial attempt to synergize the two. It's just an easier sell on something like an action game when a JRPG can just be something with the language and the story motifs, and then on a core level just be Genshin Impact or even more generically an action game.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that we live in a time where more than ever people are a lot more self-restrictive about the games that they will allow themselves to play. Whereas in a time where there were simply less games, you would play everything because if you were too restrictive, you would just kind of run out of shit to do in this hobby.
Yeah.
Like, a person who really likes Final Fantasy VII might also just play GoldenEye because those are two games that exist at the same time. Whereas the kind of person who exists today, they might say, I only want to play Apex. I don't care about any other games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also the thing about that era, though, is like in that Final Fantasy VII era, there were, and even like Super Nintendo, as an old person, you could be I just play RPGs gamer. I am somebody who is I just play RPGs gamer because were legitimately so many of them coming out every year.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they were even localized. There were a lot of them coming out on the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Super Nintendo. There was no dearth of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, and also it was the thing we were talking about before, where, you know, Rose was saying that there was not necessarily an incentive to make a game $50 billion in the first year of sales.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of experimentation. There was a lot of, here is this budget. If it succeeds, you'll get a Parasite Eve 2. If it doesn't, well, we'll try again in a different game. Like, Vagrant Story is a game with a lot of weirdness and idiosyncrasy, and I could understand why a person wouldn't like it, but that was a game that was trying to push the hardware of the PS1 to its limits, but it was also to an extension, an experiment. It was an experimental game. And in that same sense, like, when every game needs to be like the 70, 80, 100 if you live in other countries, sorry, Canada, price investment, you just kind of become more conservative in your tastes, and the companies in turn are more conservative about making things than ever. You don't really get the film, what is it? what was the film company that'll just give anyone a budget and then they just make it and it succeeds? It doesn't matter.
A24.
You don't really have, yeah, something like that, where it's like you have your New Bloods, right behind me. You have New Bloods. You have all of these game studios that'll be like, your game looks somewhat interesting. Here's a budget, but you don't see that kind of thing from Square Enix anymore. You don't see that kind of thing from really Nintendo unless it's like a really rare occasion where they'll get experimental, and you don't see that. You definitely don't see it with Xbox and Ubisoft and Epic Games. They're here to make $1 billion, and you don't really see that same level of experimentation that allows the kind of person who would play Marathon and Trails in the Sky on the same console.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
it's capitalism's fault. Yeah. Anyway.
I agree with y'all. I don't really have anything to add in that regard. That's, y'all hit it. Next up is a question from Izzy, who asks, I've been thinking lately about the way that a game is able to convey a sense of time and place through audio and visuals alone. Do you have any places in games that have stuck in your mind, places that you find yourselves just doing nothing but taking in the scenery? That is something that I did a lot in the Xenoblade games. Like, there's a lot of places where you just walk into an area and it just opens up in front of you. Yep. And there's also a lot of they want you to go to like secret areas a lot of the times too. They'll be like, oh, you get bonus points and upgrade stuff if you go to the secret area. But it's the real reward for that secret area is the gorgeous view that you get as soon as you walk in there. And that's always really nice. Just being able to walk in there and just like look around and just be like, this is gorgeous. So,
I mean, at
absolutely.
heart, I'm a Vista gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm all about the vistas.
Yes.
And like the thing that you're talking about, like a lot of that DNA is also present in MMOs, Like Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft love doing the thing where you enter an area and it's kind of uninspiring, and then you round the corner and then you actually see the vista.
Mm-hmm.
Like early 14 is all about you being like, well, this area is a desert, and then you turn around the corner and there's a giant shard of a meteor sticking out of the continent.
There's there are 2 areas in specific in 14 that I genuinely will just like leave my game AFK, and both of them are like hidden sightseeing spots because they have their sightseeing log in the game, which some of them are like genuinely built out. At least they used to be in the early expansions, like areas to take in the scenery, go sightseeing, if you will. Then eventually they just became, hey, we stuck an orb on top of this hill that you can get to once you can fly. It became a lot less interesting in the last couple of expansions. But in Heavensward, there is outside in the area around Alexander, there is this just big lake area, and there is a hidden waterfall and a cave behind that looks out over the entire area, and it's just this gorgeous vista. The sound of water crashing is just really nice. Mm-hmm. And I just leave my game AFK in there while I'm doing other things, and just there's a nice vista to look at. It's pretty. The music is pretty good in the area, so I can just vibe there. Same with, there's an area in Stormblood that is just, it's the people that rule over this area called the Azum Steppe live in a raised city above everything else. And you can just sit out over the edge of it, looking over this vast plain, listening to almost ska. That is just this really, really, really gorgeous vista in this really nice area. Mm-hmm. 14 has a bunch of those where it's, I just like sitting here and vibing.
Mm-hmm. So I have 2 also in 14. So the most obvious one is like the little picnic cliff in Ilmeg that looks over the giant fairy castle. And once you restore nighttime, it has giant glowing wings on like the whole castle. That's really pretty to see. But my favorite one of all time, is in the same place that Lorelai was talking about, but same expansion, different area. Mine is the Ruby Sea. And the reason I love the Ruby Sea is that it has a giant area underwater that you can hang out in. And there's these domed cities underneath the sea that you can kind of just stare at in the distance at all times. And it also adds like this warbling underwater effect while you're down there.
Mm-hmm.
And the night music is like the perfect atmosphere for that. So you have these beautiful underwater glowing cities, almost like something akin to like a Xanarkand. And you have this music that almost, it's that it's the lo-fi kind of low pass filter where it makes everything sound like it's happening on the other side of a wall.
Mm-hmm.
It does that to the music. And I think when I first got there, I literally ended my play session there because I literally just sat in the water for, I want to say 2 to 3 hours, just looking around. And that is also a wonderful part of 14.
Mm-hmm.
Also, forgive me, John, I trampled over you a little bit.
You're fine.
So go on with the Xeno stuff.
No, that's fine. Then that was good. Oh, Maverick is saying in the chat that happened in Deltarune Chapter 2. For me, it was for Deltarune was Chapter 4. Was it 4? Yeah. Was the Sanctuary. That song that plays when you're in the Sanctuary, the do like that song.
It's so good.
It's so good. And like once it starts, like once the percussion comes in and all that, like that, for some reason my like the first thing that I thought of once like it started hitting really hard is I just went like, things are never going to be the same, are they? Like that was just like, it was just like we've taken a turn. We've taken a turn.
That song has like 10 time sig shifts in it. Like it goes crazy.
Yes, it does. And I mean, there's just something about like that, the way that song sounds that makes me go like, oh, I'm just scared. I'm just scared about what's going to happen from now on. And you have every right to be. You should be scared because shit happens. Shit goes down.
I still can't believe. Are we not? Am I crazy for saying this? Or are we not? Are we getting another Deltarune chapter this year? Did I misremember?
Supposedly, that? Yes.
That's crazy that we get that all back to back. Toby, what have you done to us?
Yeah, any day can be Deltarune tomorrow. That is true. It could just drop. I mean, I think there was like an email I think he sent out recently that was like, I think for the most part Chapter 5 is done. I think they're just doing like translations and stuff, so it really could just drop. Like, just got to be ready. Shit's crazy.
Takes you back to the Homestuck days where a person could release the update and crash 2/3 of the internet.
I mean,
oh, those were the days.
Yeah, I mean, Steam like went down for like a hot minute when the update dropped. I remember, like, it wasn't like, you know, for an extended amount of time, but there was definitely a hiccup. But yeah. All right, last question. Unless anyone else has any other answers they want to share.
I guess I never said anything.
Oh, go ahead then.
Kingdom Hearts 2's Twilight Town is a really great thing. I also feel that way about the world that never was in Kingdom Hearts 2. I say Twilight Town specifically because it is this linear, cut off by loading screens place where they can create these abstracted environments, and I find it really interesting because then in Kingdom Hearts 3, you get this idea of that, for lack of a better word, liminality of the original Twilight Town when they make it a full open world map you could just sort of seamlessly run through. That's huge. And you see how, like, this feels like, oh, this is the real one, in quotation marks, versus the weird, abstracted, dream-like one of the original. And I really like that.
All right. Last question here, and it is from Aspiring Shoulder, who asks, if you got the opportunity to pick a Red Baron-style epithet for yourself, what would it be? I mean, isn't part of it not picking it for yourself? It's being bestowed?
So I guess we should bestow it to each other, is what you're saying.
Okay. Do we want to like go in a circle, kind of like like clockwise? I don't know. How do we want to do it?
All right, you can hit me with it if I must. I will become the target.
Okay. The
Mav.
what? White gamer? You said I'm white gamer?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's just evil.
Game Boy White. Game Boy White. Oh my god. I was thinking for Lily. I was thinking like I don't know, for some reason, like I mean I know that it's because Lily Lilac. I was thinking about like lilac for some reason, and then I was trying to think of like a term for like shooter that wasn't just shooter. The lilac. I don't know, Lilac Devastator. That's what came to me.
Okay. I'll take my Trails title.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will give John the man who collects everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
The boxer. Gotta have them box copies.
The boxer.
I have items. The bouncer.
The bouncer, yes.
All right. Did I don't know. Rose, I feel like we I don't know. It's just like the ashen priestess or something, you know?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
okay.
The holy gamer.
Yeah. And then for Lorelai,
The holiest gamer.
well, I feel like you are Lorelai. I feel
Lorelai
like
already
you
has like a title, but
I was gonna say, I feel like you already have at least two.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, you seem like the kind of person who's just got them, you know, don't make a big
The
deal out of
Judgment
it.
Scythe.
The
The
Judgment Scythe,
Mahjong
yeah.
enthusiast.
Yeah, the Judgment Scythe. I mean, you can't get better than that. Like, that's a really good title. Like, yeah, I know we're not, like, coming up with a new one for you, but it's just because, like, you got it. You're good, you know? Like...
I mean, we don't have a 1,000 Oathbreaker of Gamesline.
Not yet. We'll see.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I'll draw my blade once more, just this once.
Let's see how it goes. Well, it's because Maverick's here. We got to think of one for Maverick. 'Cause he's in the chat.
Oh, that's true.
What's a good one for Maverick?
Ball knower.
Marine Schwarzer, the next generation.
Ball knower, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
The trolley stop.
That's this website.
The ethical
Yeah.
chevalier.
The straight Rhine. God. Oh my god. All right, well, thank you so much for being on here, man. We were like, let's do this news thing, and maybe it'll make the podcast shorter than it didn't.
Yeah, imagine if we had done all of the news.
It's
It would have
almost
been
like we had a
5
frickin'
hours.
hyperfixations for two of the members.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
talk about.
Maverick's right. It's got to be Guy of Loyalty. That's true.
Guy of
All right.
Loyalty is really good.
Guy of Loyalty. All right, but thank you so much for being here, everybody. We've got our website, which is gamesline.net, and you can go on there to read stuff. We've got some articles up there. Fucking Critical Distance was like, hey, Gamesline, we're finally going to be nice to you for once. For once.
Oh, for once. Come on.
For
They're always
once.
nice
No,
to us.
I know. I'm being a shithead. But no, they gave us like 2.5 shouts because they were like, hey, here's Lily's new article, here's Rose's new article, and then also we're gonna link Lily's other last article, like the article from before that, under Rose's article, because it was also about Trails. So there you go. We are the Trails website. It continues to be proven.
The website of JRPG women.
Yeah, there you go. And John. And Maverick and everyone
You're
else.
a JRPG gamer.
I am, but I'm not. I'm JRPG man.
There you go. There's your epithet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm not that far. You know, maybe after I finish like Koldica or something. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, but yes, if you want to continue to follow us, we have the website. Everything's on there. You can go to our Blue Sky, which is also gamesline.net. We have our Tumblr, which, I don't know, should we keep updating it? I don't know. You tell us. Are y'all using Tumblr?
I know it's scary out there right now.
Yeah, it's a mess. We upload our podcast episodes onto YouTube, youtube.com/@TheGamesline, or you could follow us on Twitch to see us when we're live, twitch.tv/GameslineTV. We've got our Patreon, patreon.com/GamesLine. $3 a month is our buy-in. I kind of don't want to say to get stuff early, because we need to figure that out. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll figure it out. And then we have our Discord server, again, thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser to come hang out with us and chat and do stuff. You can do all kinds of things.
We've been having anime nights lately.
Yeah, there has been a push to watch some freaking anime in there. So if you want to watch stuff, go ahead. Like, I'll be honest, I would be in there if I was a little less busy. I would be watching some anime with y'all. So go in there, hop in, have some fun, chat. It's time.
Develop a burgeoning gamer friendship.
Yes, that's how you do it. And thank you to Melt Channel / Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And hey, you can buy their music whenever, but it's coming up first Friday of the month. That means Bandcamp Friday. So make sure you keep that in mind. Hop on there, and if you want to buy their music, that's when you do it. Or any music on Bandcamp, that's the best time to do it, because they get the full cut of the profits. Otherwise, Lorelai, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitch and Blue Sky at Judgment Scythe everywhere.
And then, Rose, where can people find you?
fatamorgana.bsky.social.
And Lily, where can people find you?
I can be found at galilisdatura.bsky.social.
And you can find me at john.gamesline.net on Blue Sky. I'm difficult.
It's a little easier somehow, to some degree, like on a certain
both.
level. I want to do the custom URL, but I'm scared.
Why not? I mean,
I don't want you to lose House of Fata Morgana.
I know, that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we could set you up with rose.gamesline.net, but...
I know, but yeah. If only I could have house.fatamorgana.
I don't know, fucking call up the Fata Morgana people, like, be like, hey, listen, I've probably sold more copies of this game to people
than anyone else alive.
Anyone, can I please have house.fatamorgana.com? And they'll probably
I saw what you did for that VTuber, but know that I did so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Sold me a copy personally.
Yeah, see?
All right. Well, that'll do it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being on here tonight, and we will be back next week, hopefully, with another episode. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Goodbye, everyone. Return to gaming.
Yeah, go back to gaming right now. Go game.